Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Meanie right here.
Meanie, ladies and gentlemen. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. The months of the year. August, September, October, November, December. Oh, these are the months of the year. Baby, baby. And then I wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and crazy Sunday. Let's keep going. A, B, C, D.
Man, that's the finest show open we've had in years.
I'm so glad you guys have that in your life again.
Well, it's been so long. And I got to thank a listener, and I wish I had a name, but they sent me a video, a YouTube link to it yesterday. And, I should have looked at when it was posted because we've been looking forever. But the search terms we used, I guess, were wrong. We're stupid. They're smart. And that was so awesome of them to think about us.
Welcome to the program. Welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Josh and I have been confusing our listening audience for some time now by referencing that bit. And we brought it up again, actually, not too long ago. What you just heard was a comic by the name of Kevin Meanie, who used to come out on stage singing about the months of the year. And Josh and I love to sing that song, despite knowing that very few people understand what it is we're referencing. That actually wasn't the audio.
Well, it's as close as we can get.
Close as we can get. I'm not trying to.
So we got the song on.
Yeah,
there.
I'm not trying to piss on anyone's parade, but what I'm dying still to get my hands on was his appearance on The Tonight Show. That was Kevin Meanie, stand-up somewheres in the 1980s. But the problem was that audio from The Tonight Show disappeared a number of years ago. We searched and searched. We couldn't find it. Thank you to that listener. They didn't give you a name?
No name.
Finally got their hands on some version of it. And I can't thank them enough. That bit has never failed to straight up make me happier than hell. It's so simple and stupid, yet wildly effective.
And by the way, I mean, that whole bit goes on for like 3 minutes. He's counting. He's doing all kinds of stuff.
Planets.
Yeah, he does everything.
He was the type of character that made you happy just looking at the guy, Kevin Meanie. No question.
John Lovitz, there's guys like that where there's facial expressions. That's comedy right there.
That's a great way to start the show. Part of the reason I think, Josh, that I'm so drawn to that bit, it reminds me of one of my grandmothers. She was a sing-songy type of lady. She was usually humming or singing a song, and many times she would sing songs on the fly that she was making up in her head as she went along.
I love that.
I'll tell you a quick one. Now, I think I might be the only one here. Am I the only one who came from a family who would put a cassette tape in a tape recorder and just hit record and casually record conversation going around the house?
We recorded stuff, but it would be things on purpose. Like
on purpose.
People would be singing or people would be doing a play or something like that. Yeah, never just casual conversation.
Before video cameras and all that, my mother would do this. A couple other members of my family would do this.
NSA, they do that.
The NSA?
Right along with you.
They would throw a cassette into an old school tape recorder and just hit record with the family around doing average daily things. I later on in life, when I found out there were numerous cassette tapes in my mother's possession specifically that had just recorded average, everyday activities around the house, I thought this was very odd. And I still think that's odd. But in the end, it's kind of, I could bring in, if you guys cared, I could bring in a cassette tape sometime if we could find a cassette player around here.
We don't have any anymore.
And you could listen to my mother and my brother and I having a conversation when my brother and I were 4.
I would love that. My parents have an old like boombox thing that can take cassette tapes.
Okay.
I'll bring that in. That'd be so cool.
I've told you before, it's been a long time. I was, maybe this won't surprise some of you, I was one of the most obnoxious children of all time. I would just scream. And I was a singer also as a child. I would sing and I drove everybody out of their friggin' minds. So that's where this all comes from. For whatever reason, my mother specifically, would tape record us just doing anything. And my sing-songy grandmother, we still have her on cassette tape. Going back to the what I said a minute ago, that she would just randomly sing songs that she was making up in her head. We have on cassette tape from probably 1976. My grandmother is in the kitchen, and she's making dinner. And my Uncle Dan comes around the corner. Now he's an old man. At the time, he was 17 or something. He comes around the corner, and he says to my grandmother, "Hey, for dinner tonight, I don't want baked potatoes. I'll eat mashed potatoes." So for me personally, he says to his mother, my grandmother, it's mashed potatoes or nothing for me for dinner tonight, right? My grandmother hears this, and in a matter of minutes, she begins singing a song that goes, "Danny won't eat baked potatoes. He'll have mashed or none." She was just an adorable little lady.
That is
like
really
that.
like
cute.
that. My mom's a whistler.
Is she a
likes to
whistler?
whistle. My dad is like a song breather. Where he's like, not really a whistle, but he used to do stuff like that.
Those
Just
were
kind
the-
of more breathing than anything.
Maybe that's why I've always been drawn to the Kevin Meanie bit. It does remind me a little bit of my grandmother.
I just like how silly it is and how excited he is when he sings it.
Right, right. Oh, God. I told you about the I'm a Little Owl. Does anyone
I don't
remember
recall.
the story of that? That's a cassette tape I could bring in for you from when I was a tiny little kid. I got it into my head one afternoon that I was a little owl. And I sang this and screamed this to my family for a good hour.
Oh, geez, dude.
Screaming in the highest possible kid voice you could imagine in your head. I'm screaming and yelling about how I am a little owl. And in the background, you can hear the voice of my dad and my grandfather, and they sound like they are seconds away from strangling me to death and burying me in the backyard. I don't know. One day maybe we can check these out. Every once in a while, Josh, we get a text message that comes in right at the start of the show that sets the tone for the day, or at least for me, it sets the tone for the day. And I think we received one of those this morning. Let me tell you what it says here, and you tell me what you think. A text message from NWO Jesus. He says, "It's Friday, folks. Let's crank some blind melon."
I did see that text, and I was thinking about it. How do you crank blind melon? I'll tell you what, they remind me of college because that's when that little bee dancing song was so big. It was all over MTV. Dang,
Let's crank some blind melon.
Yeah, you don't crank blind melon.
Oh, it happened once. Blind melon was cranked one day, Josh, and it was one of the more unpleasant afternoons of my entire life. My brother got drunk one afternoon and cranked Blind Melon, and it was just on repeat, that Bumblebee song you were just talking about. All I can say is that my life is pretty plain.
Oh, that's
Oh, my damn.
on repeat. I'd go crazy.
He got drunk. He hit, what's that song called? No Rain?
No Rain, yep.
He hit play. This is at a house party. My brother lived in this house. He gets drunk off his ass by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Beautiful summer day. We're all out in the lawn drinking beer in the yard. whatever, throwing a football back and forth, whatever folks did in 1991. My brother gets drunk, goes into his room, hits play and repeat on that friggin' No Rain song, maxes out the volume, and then he passes out. Door locked.
No.
So over and over and over again.
Time to find a new party.
All I can say is that
I'm going to argue that you can listen to it at loud volume. You can't crank it. That's reserved for heavy rock music.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I'm not arguing with you. What else is going on today? Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver will join us at 7:30.
I'll be out at the U.S. Bank Stadium later talking to the folks from Monster Jam.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I know you're excited about it.
I love going out there.
Before 9, you'll hear Smashley at the new Metrodome with the Monster Truck folks. Do you have any idea what rig you might be driving around the track? Because they're going to allow you to drive a vehicle around the track, right?
I've been trying to get them to do that. It's always some stupid insurance, what if you die kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get it.
Stupid safety protocols.
Yeah, I get it. But come on, just a little bit. But no, I'm not sure what
Okay.
rig I'll be talking to yet, but it's always a surprise.
They're always friendly people, the Monster Truck folks, and I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you.
It's a good thing you're not further along in your pregnancy, Ashley, because I feel like some of those revving of those monster trucks might just, knock a baby right out of somebody.
It's funny that you bring that up because, of course, my fiance has been a little bit of a hypochondriac about the things I do while being pregnant, and he immediately looked up if I could be around like monster trucks and
Seriously?
stuff. And actually, they advise like later on in your pregnancy not to be around
that's
super
funny.
loud noises because the baby is starting to like develop their hearing and all that.
Did that kill your buzz, or were you drunk enough that it didn't affect it at all?
I was drunk enough. I just powered through.
You can listen to him.
Heading out to the Monster Truck setup later this morning. Smashley will be. Oh, man. Oh, we've got text messages coming in saying one listener says, I'm not really in a blind melon mood. Can we crank some Hootie and the Blowfish instead? Now, you're not going to believe this, but it's true. My brother also would crank Hootie and the Blowfish. You see, he's got this tough guy image because he goes to the gym and presses weights all day long and whatnot. But this guy listens to some stupid music, or at least he used to.
He's just well-rounded.
He would also crank that friggin' Hootie and the Blowfish when they first hit it big with the let her go.
I
would want to be with you. Oh God, it was miserable. And again, he was still drinking then. So you know what it's like when a drinker gets a hold of what they believe to be their favorite record.
Oh gosh,
It was horrible, man. Horrible.
And I suppose he's so big, tough, and angry that people aren't really going to say much to
Nobody
him.
would get in the way of him in the stereo. Yeah. Oh, God, it was awful. Now here's someone else looking to start trouble saying, yeah, sure, you can't crank Blind Melon, but here's a song you can crank, Fat Bottom Girls by Foreigner.
That is my favorite Foreigner song. Have you ever seen Foreigner perform it live? They never play it live.
Never did.
It's crazy. It's such a good song by Foreigner, and they never play it live.
Oh. No, we're not going to crank any Foreigner. Not Fat Bottom Girls. We might play, I don't know, We Will Rock You or
Immigrant song?
yeah, Whole Lot of Love or something by Foreigner, but not Fat Bottom Girls.
Baba O'Reilly.
Boo! That would be great to hear that tune.
This is really weird. Up North Metal Mullet Jesus just asked if we can crank some Lynch Mob. I was just telling Nick off air yesterday I watched an entire Lynch Mob show from last month.
Yeah.
George Lynch looking good. You can still do it.
George Lynch.
Oh, somebody else recommends Oasis. Let's just throw Oasis into the mix.
Oh no.
God dang. Can I continue picking on my family, specifically my brother, and some of his music choices? When we were in junior high, oh, God, he got a hold of another record that he thought was something other than garbage, and he was wrong. Another song he used to listen to over and over again. Now, this is junior high, so he didn't have a drinking problem yet. He could still handle his liquor in 8th grade. But this was another song I was tortured by, courtesy of my brother and his horrible taste in music. Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah.
I wanna be Sledgehammer. I could be your testimony.
That one's an earworm. That'll stick with you for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, that song was always, it's just so weird.
Well, that was Peter Gabriel's thing. I'm weird.
He was kind of a weird.
It was misleading, too, if you walked into our home, because if you walked over to my brother's room, on his door, he had a massive Iron Maiden door poster. But then you'd enter his room. I want to be Sledgehammer.
March Madness Jesus, he loves Foreigner, especially their cover of Radar Love.
Oh, man. And then he also had the George Michael Faith record. I mean, a lot of people did.
Nothing wrong with that.
A lot of people did. He played the hell out of that George Michael Faith record. Father Figure.
What a touching song that is.
All right, what else is going on?
You know, we've said this before.
People are texting and guessing what other bad bands my brother might have been. I'll get back to you. What's that now?
We've said this before. You know, you mentioned George Michael. And if you ever, I hope someday you're lucky enough to have a friend like Andrew Ridgeley, like George Michael did in his Wham days. He's got to be the nicest individual that's ever lived, and what a supportive friend he was.
If you haven't seen that documentary on Wham, what's it called? Is it called Wake Me Up Before You Go? Is it called Careless Whisper? If you haven't seen, I never gave two pumps about Wham.
It's just called Wham.
It is. And maybe HBO put it together. I don't know what you have over there, but it's a couple years old. Netflix?
I think it was Netflix, yeah.
I watched it, and it's one of the best music documentaries you'll ever see. And it is a great story. And Josh is right. The other half of Wham that most folks forgot about instantly was a cat by the name of Andrew Ridgeley. And when you watch that documentary, you will walk away saying to yourself exactly what Josh just said out loud. Everyone on earth should be so lucky to have a friend like Andrew Ridgeley.
If you watch that, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. The most supportive friend. I mean, he stepped away from the spotlight, and he was more excited about George Michael's career than he was his own.
Stepped aside for his bro and said, you go ahead and be George Michael with that Father Figure record, and then the dorky kid in Wayzata will buy it, and he'll listen to it constantly. Andrew Ridgeley stepped aside and said, you go ahead and be the star. I mean, not that it's a sad ending to Andrew Ridgeley's the story of his music career. He stepped aside after making about $400 million and then spent the next 5 or 6 years banging the entire cast of the band Bananarama.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Wow.
He said, I'm going to have sex with Bananarama here for a few years. You go ahead and have a solo career. And if you're a little older, you know it wasn't a bad deal to sign up for sex with Bananarama.
Shoot, I'd do it today.
Yeah, you would. Oh, man. Milli Vanilli. I never heard any Milli Vanilli coming from my brother's bedroom. So I'll give him that. But I remember when they were a thing. Certainly.
Yeah, they were huge.
That was my senior year of high school. Everywhere you turned, it was Milli Vanilli.
So you'd hear a lot of no rain, but no blame it on the rain coming out of your brother.
Blame it on the rain. Now,
is this true? One Good Eye Jesus said that George Michael did a cover of Limp Bizkit's Faith.
he did.
He did.
He did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's better than the original. But back to that Wham documentary, I think it was, and I do enjoy a good music documentary. I really do. It's that, or a wrestling documentary, or a sports documentary. That stuff will hold me day in, day out. And I really do think that Wham documentary is one of the best ever made. Right up there with the history of the Eagles. If you haven't watched the history of the Eagles, just an absolutely perfectly done documentary. And what a great story, and what a great band. I'm trying to think of some others that I might have seen. Those two stand out. But, of course, now I can't think of any others. What else is going on today? Any other old music you guys want to talk about?
I probably shouldn't say anything about this. But,
What?
You know, I'm a bachelor now.
Right.
For a little over a day.
Oh, when does it end?
Sunday.
Oh, God. It's already coming to a close.
No, I like Sunday's good. It's my fun day. I almost cheated on my wife last night.
Hell yeah, you did.
Tell me about this. This is what I've been waiting for. How long have I been encouraging you to do this?
You understand I'm a flawed man and I have needs, and she's gone, and I gave me some time to think, and there's this 6'3" brunette temptress by the name of Jack Reacher on Prime Video, and season 3 just came out, and I want to watch it, but I can't because that's our show, or one of our shows.
Oh,
You did it,
no,
Josh.
not this gimmick.
I came close, Ashley.
Oh my gosh,
You know what
that
I
would
did?
crush me.
I loaded it up, and I just hovered my thumb above the remote control to hit play. But I couldn't do it.
Oh, dude, it's so good too.
Oh, you started watching it?
Yes, it's so good.
That's your show, you and the wife?
It's one of our shows.
Well, that...
I can't cheat on her like that. You know, here's the problem. She's so much better than I am in so many ways, but one of them is, let's say...
What did you just say?
It's true.
Jesus.
I don't like...
This guy's more far gone than I thought.
She's even out of town and he's doing this too.
Well, you know, you can bring 93X with you wherever you go, that there's an internet connection in the world. Be a stream, you can podcast your smart speaker, all that kind of stuff. But no, I don't... Let's say I watched it, right? And she's like, well, let's rewatch it together. I don't like to rewatch it if I already watched. She'll sit through it. Let's say I slept through an episode or something. She's an angel. She'll rewatch something. But I can't stand doing that.
I hate rewatching things.
Oh, God,
it makes me mad. Yeah.
That's my entire life is rewatching things.
Yeah.
Well, so something you just watched, though?
It doesn't really...
For me, like, I'll watch a Happy Days episode maybe I saw 50 times as a kid, you know, because I haven't seen it in a while. But if let's say I watch it today, I don't want to watch it on Sunday.
Okay, I can't really have that conversation because there's so few programs that I just watched. You know what I mean? You guys watch a lot of programs, and I can understand that if you just watched Jack Reacher, whatever that is, a brand new episode, sure, that would be annoying to do it over again, 4 or 5 days later. But my whole world is rewatching stuff from the 70s and 80s. I get criticized for it all the time. So you want to watch this program, but you're not going to because Jack Reacher is, quote, you and your wife's...
Yeah, Reacher's one of our shows.
That's what you do together.
People are texting and said what I did was I edged. I did. I edged with Reacher. And so many people are saying how good it was. Thank you. Thank you for throwing more temptation out.
Yeah, it was amazing. I struggled waiting all day just for my fiance to come home.
So you're in the
I'm
same
sorry.
boat.
What?
Yeah, especially this show. Some of the shows I watch, he's only half engaged. But when I found Reacher, he was just all in. So it would break his heart if I watched it without him. Yeah.
Is this a show on regular television? Prime Video? Okay. Well, then tell me, Josh. You've got this thing happening with the wife where some shows you can go ahead and watch, but others you can't because that's what you do collectively. You tell me, because I don't speak this language. Does this mean that my wife? Does this mean she really, really, truly loves me? I think I mentioned to you folks that recently we watched a series called "Living in the Ozarks."
Or just Ozark.
With Jason Bateman and his sister, what was her name? Justine Bateman, Michael J. Fox, Tina Yothers. We're all part of this series called Living in the Ozarks. We watched it, I don't know, it took us a couple, 3-4 months or something to get through the whole thing. My wife had already watched that entire series and then wanted me to see it, so sat through it again with me.
Yeah, that's true love.
Is that something you would do for your wife? Do you think your wife would do that for you?
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. My wife would definitely do that for me.
She would do that for you?
I would never do that for her.
Even if a year or two had gone by?
Nope.
Even if it's a show you really like you're excited to watch it with her?
But he's already seen it.
Yeah, I know, but...
if I saw it just a year ago, yeah, I'd rather not.
You would rather not? Okay. That's pretty nice of my wife. Although I will say that while we sat there together watching Living in the Ozarks, the character Nick that dated Mallory, hilarious. While we sat and watched that series, she did spend most of the time finger banging her phone.
Okay, my wife will do that too.
Okay. But at any rate, you would not do that for your wife. She would do it for you. But that doesn't make her a better person than you. That upset me. Two things have upset me this morning. When you said, that's our show, that upset me. I'm going to move back. I'm going to move beyond that. But what also upset me was when you said, she's so much better than me.
In many ways. You know, my wife and I.
No, she is not.
We are on a journey of love and growth.
No, I am.
Have you ever heard that before?
That's gimmick infringement.
No.
We get a lot of problems with gimmick infringement here in radio. I am on a journey of love and growth, and you know that.
Me and my wife are. My wife, you know her as someone who hates whores, by the way. Just hates them. All right, Local 34, Jesus, you got to stop. I'm tempted enough already. He said I should go home, light some candles, get some lube, and get Reacher fired up.
That's a recipe for Good Friday.
He is like extra shirtless in one of these, the first 3 episodes.
He doesn't look real.
Is it stupid? Like, you know how sometimes you'll watch a show and they get the guy shirtless right away for no reason whatsoever?
I guess it kind of makes sense, but they know what they're doing. It's for the audience. He didn't really need to take his clothes off.
Well, yeah, they know what they're doing. Like Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, he goes to his locker, he takes off his white T-shirt, puts on the exact same white T-shirt. It was not like he just left the gym or anything. They knew what they were doing.
I don't know this John. What's his name again?
Jack Reacher.
I don't know this Jack Reacher. I'm more of a John Wick guy.
You do love John Wick. Oh, Tom Cruise was Jack Reacher in the movies, and boy, that was controversial.
It was. People were pissed.
They were pissed because it's based on a book series, and Jack Reacher's a huge guy, right? Like I've forgotten the book. I read the books, like 6'4", 6'6". I can't remember. He's a big dude.
A decent power forward.
He's a big guy,
yeah.
and the actor that plays him is 6'3". But so people who are fans of the book. I read the books after the movie, but we're really furious that you got this dude that's 5'6" or whatever Tom Cruise is playing this big, imposing character.
That was ridiculous. I don't know why he didn't just deny it. Deny that role. Don't play that role. It's not for you.
Too much money was at stake, and whatever. It was kind of the similar. I got the similar feeling when. What's the little character's name? He played Trey, the main character in Boys in the Hood.
Who what?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
When he played O.J. Simpson.
That was rough.
I thought people liked that portrayal. They didn't?
I thought he was one of the weaker elements to the series. It was... who cares what it was called? It was an O.J. Simpson movie from a number of years ago, and I'm still drawn to that story, so I watched it. And it was absolutely silly that Cuba Gooding Jr. played O.J. Simpson because he's 5'6". It was just as dumb, speaking of Tom Cruise, when Cuba Gooding Jr. played an NFL wide receiver in that friggin' Jeremy Maguire movie, whatever that was. That was dumb.
I never saw that movie.
Don't see it. It's garbage.
I don't think I need to with all the quotes and everything that's been thrown.
Yeah, you've heard everything you need to hear about it. This
total garbage. So I get it. I get why people would be wondering, why is this little sawed-off character playing this supposedly intimidating, bad guy? What is Jack Reacher? Is he a cop?
He used to be in the military police. He's like an ex-military guy.
What's he doing now?
He just wanders, and then he always finds trouble. Or I guess he says that trouble always finds him.
I remember that sounds like you're describing Kung Fu.
Eastbound at Sundown, Jesus. This is the quote from the book. 6'5", 250 pounds with hands as big as dinner plates. That's what they say in the book.
That's Tommy Cruise.
That sounds like Tom Cruise.
Or Cuba Gooding Jr. Both intimidating characters. All right. What a crowd we got out there, and it's Friday. It doesn't feel like this has been a 4-day work week. This feels like it's been a lot longer. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I've had a bad time. I have not had a bad time, but it just...
it's just been very tired in here this week.
It's been tired.
Everybody's getting sick.
It's been sick.
I'm edging. I mean, I need a release. I'm edging. So, yeah, it's been kind of one of those weeks.
Yeah, you'll cut loose, I guess, on Sunday when the wife comes home and allows you to watch television again.
Yeah,
we got to get going again. Like I said, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder a little bit later. We'll come back with the stupid news here in a minute on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah. We were talking about killer tunes earlier. Great songs. We were talking songs. We can talk about them, we just can't always play them. Even though we're a highly rated radio show. The Star Trib doesn't think so, but it's true. We can talk about these songs. We can't always play them. This would be great. This would be great if we could do this. I mean, a listener by the name of former IRT operator Jesus, former IRT operator Jesus has texted in. He was hoping maybe we could play the final countdown because today is the final day of his truck driving career. He's headed off to retirement.
Oh,
Good for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congrats.
You got it done, didn't you? Former
Enjoy.
IRT. Yeah, you got it done. We could sing it to you. We just
If
play
your
it.
grandma was here, she could sing it.
We're-
My mom could whistle it.
Headed for Venus. What line would you add there, Josh? I mean, originally they wrote, "We're headed for Venus, and still we stand tall." Where would you go from there if you had your choice?
I'm headed for penis,
No,
but I missed and it's all ball.
What else did I get texted here? I was talking about my brother's terrible taste in music when we were younger. Oh, God, it was terrible. Blind Melon, Hootie and the Blowfish, Peter Gabriel.
You didn't like Peter Gabriel at all?
No. I don't know. This text struck me funny.
Not at all. Huh?
Please, please, Josh, I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this. And you cannot do I just got out of the hospital a week ago. You can't do this to me. Don't say it.
I won't.
Thank you.
That hospital, where is that? Salisbury Hill, is that in that neighborhood? Don't give up, man.
That's not the one that I thought you were going to bring up.
Oh, I know.
Right.
You know why I'm not going to bring it up? Because I can see the rage in your eyes.
This struck me funny. A listener texted in about my brother's terrible taste in music. Maybe you had to be there. I think I'm going to be the only one here. But the listener said, "Oh, boy, I bet your brother straight himself the first time he heard Runaway Train by Soul Asylum." He probably did. I got no problem with Soul Asylum.
Oh, especially after the song Misery?
Yeah.
That is a good... Do you guys know that song?
Yeah.
Misery?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
You don't know
Possibly?
I wasn't into the grunge thing. I wasn't at all. Matter of fact, I greatly despised grunge music. But when Soul Asylum launched that tune Misery at me, I was down in a mopo. I was. We've done this once before.
Yeah.
We've done this once before where we reminisced back on the song Misery by Soul Asylum, and then we got a lot of text messages saying, you guys hated grunge, but you like that friggin' song?
That's a good one.
I did. I hated grunge. I still hate it. But for whatever reason, I thought that song, it just grabbed me.
Yeah,
I love the
me too.
harmonics. That's not the word. The harmonies, whatever. The singing. I just think that's a great tune. Nirvana. All that crap. Hated it. All right. Stupid news. Everyone's kicking. What happened?
Sorry. NWO Jesus, who earlier wanted us to crank Blind Melon.
He did.
Oh, come on. You play Soul Asylum, but not Blind Melon? You just made my Friday not worth the day's journey. Journey, now that's a great band right there.
Without question. Everyone's kicking this kid's ass on the Chinese version of social media. Now, you younger people here on our program, Ashley, Danel, Wapple, you've been up and down and all over American social media. Have you gone ahead and tried Chinese social media?
No, I haven't made the crossover
I didn't try
yet.
that.
Kind of tough to read.
You know, Dana,
Yeah.
Chinese social media might be your better option. Maybe your last chance for real popularity, I think, on Chinese social media.
Give it a shot.
What's the platform they use? I guess I don't even know.
Weibo.
Weibo?
That's the big one over in China.
They wobble and they don't fall down. I remember those. What is Weibo?
That's like their big social media platform, is my understanding.
Oh, so it's not called Facebook or it's called Weibo.
Weibo.
Okay.
Here's the problem, though. Once you're on Chinese social media and you close your browser, 30 minutes later, you're going to want it again.
No.
Dirty bastard. This is great. I just got a text message from someone up in St. Cloud that says, Nick, it's okay to be wrong, buddy. Soul Asylum sucks ass. Well, just that one song. I mean, can't you just give me that one song? Get back to me. Can I have the one song? I'm not going to listen to any of the rest of their music. Can I have Misery? Because it loves company and we can build a factory and make misery.
That's what they're going to make there, Ashley.
Yeah,
that
made me laugh a little.
They produce misery.
Did you think that was clever or stupid?
Stupid.
I thought it was clever. All right. Everyone's teeing off on this one kid on Chinese social media. He's a college kid living in a dormitory with a roommate and all that. Don't you know? That's his setup. And he effed up. He did. He accidentally set the effing school on fire. And here's how he accomplished that. The story says that the kid was absolutely pile driving his inflatable F-doll in the dorm one day. Buck style. I mean, just all of his weight blasting into his inflatable F-doll. And then his roommate returned to the dorm, as they say it here, unexpectedly. The kid went into a panic when he heard his roommate approaching. He was terrified of what would happen if his roommate would catch him in the act of penetrating a bag filled with air. So he pulled up his little drawers and he ran out into the hallway with his plastic girlfriend. His next move was what killed his chance at getting away with this. For some bizarre reason, he decided the only way out of the current mess he was in was to light his rubber girlfriend afire.
No, it's murder.
Yeah, you do that with a prostitute, not a blow-up doll.
Have some class, man.
So that's what he did. But he ended up triggering the campus fire alarm. The entire dormitory filled up with smoke, and the Chinese fire department had to come racing onto the scene, only to find out it wasn't any kind of four-alarm emergency. It was just one horny college kid with a flaming sex doll in his hand.
He's got to switch schools.
Back in the day when you used to pass around dirty magazines, you know, it was not as prolific as it is now. This was maybe my 8th grade. We were all passing around a Playboy, and shameful, sinful, I know. But it was my turn, and I got so scared when I heard my mom approaching my room that I crumpled it up Like I had to get rid of it, and I put it. There was like this wooden box that covered a pipe because my room was in the basement. It's just like a concrete room, basically.
Right.
So I shoved it in there, and I set the thing back on there. My mom knew something was up, and she found it and threw it away. So I was the kid that lost the one and only Playboy in our school.
Yeah.
That hurts.
It was my fault.
Your bros.
A tough day to go back to school.
Your bros were pretty upset about this.
They were very upset.
They knew your family and how strict and Catholic and sideways it was over there. They must have had some apprehension when they passed the magazine to you for your turn. They must have feared this is probably going to go bad. No porno survives in that Bitney house.
Yeah, it was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, like I already thought, oh, they're going to be so mad at me because I crumpled this thing up as fast as I could.
Right. Did they say, before they handed you, or when you returned to school and had to tell your 8th grade bros that the one and only F book amongst the 5-6 of you was gone, did they say, we friggin' knew it?
No, nobody said that.
Did you get it last in the group?
Well, last because I'm the one that lost it, but it was just kind of, it was like a circle. It was like a circle. We were all kind of mean people, too. It was a circle of jerks. It was like a circle jerk.
Oh, yeah.
And we would hand this thing off, and everybody, you'd have a day or two with it, and you'd bring it to the next guy.
I don't remember passing around porno magazines, but we passed around porno movies on VHS. Here, go ahead. You have this for 2 weeks, and what do you got? Oh, you got something with some lesbians? I'll take that. So we would trade VHS porno movies. I vividly remember my buddy at the time and I meeting a kid on a street corner, a kid from our junior high, whose mother worked at a video store with a squeaky door saloon, meaning an adult section. This was our hookup. So the kid said, yeah, I can get you some porno movies. And so I remember me and my buddy at the time, probably 8th grade, meeting this kid on a street corner, and he had a paper bag in his hand.
Oh, my gosh.
With the VHS pornos that we asked for, just like we were dealing crack rocks there on the streets of Wayzata, but it wasn't. It was a different kind of crack.
That's beautiful.
There's a few people suggesting the sharing of a porn magazine is disgusting. Well, I wasn't a masturbator at that time. It was just pure curiosity. And so, yeah, people handed that thing around, and I'm the one that lost it.
Why weren't you a masturbator at that time? Were you not built for it yet, if you know what I mean?
No, it was a few years before, a couple years before. And the first time it was an accident. It just went off.
So you weren't mature enough for it?
No.
Really?
I actually felt there was an incredible amount of guilt. And I know you joke about how Playboy's not really porn, but to me that was shocking.
Well, of course, when you're a young kid and you're not exposed to that kind of thing. So that's really interesting. Even in 8th grade, you weren't able to...
No, I was older when that first happened, and it was a mistake. I cleaned it too vigorously in the shower. No. I thought, I heard about this.
Dude, that's got to just be so awful.
I didn't know that could happen.
All right, so back to this Chinese kid. Banging his F doll. Roommate comes back to the dorm. Chinese college kid. In an effort to keep his F doll a secret, he lights it on fire. And he ends up risking burning the entire school down. Obviously, the cruel twist here is in an effort to keep his masturbatory habit a secret from his roommate, he ended up exposing his perversions to the entire college, and from there, the effing world. No one was harmed. He was disciplined by the school somehow. There's no details about what that involves. But even worse, now he's going to be the butt of every jack-off joke at his school until he actually does decide to burn down the dormitory that he lives in, killing everyone while they sleep. His only way out of it is to burn that dormitory now for real and kill everyone in their sleep.
Yeah, or transfer schools.
Yeah, burn everything down.
Never thought about the transferring idea. I suppose that's the less dramatic.
It just doesn't seem like that'd be a bit. I mean, I don't know how it operates in China.
They're different.
But if it was here, I don't think it would be. I mean, sure, you're going to get ribbed a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it doesn't seem like it'd be that big a deal.
They're different. All right, well, this is just mean and bizarre and sad and frustrating. It'll piss you off. An elderly couple has ended up the victims of vandalism at their home. They're English, so I can't say I feel too bad about it. The old couple in the 80s, they came home a night or two ago and found a hell of a mess, and their security camera setup recorded everything. What they found on the video was an obviously very mentally ill lady come up onto their property and do something gross and disturbing. On their security video, the crazy lady, so I'm sure you can picture this, it's the dead of night, and a figure wanders onto their property up their driveway. This is what they saw on their security video. The crazy lady walks up onto their property carrying a fat pile of soft feces wrapped in newspaper.
Oh.
Soft, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure the spelling on that, but yes, soft. The crazy lady then smeared that cold, wet feces all over the old couple's front door mail slot, if folks still know what that is.
I got to say, my imagination is good enough that I don't think I needed the photos that they put in this article. I mean, it's disgusting and kind of shocking. But I'll tell you what, it adds to your level of frustration for sure.
It does.
When you see how bad it is.
There was absolutely no need for photos, but they had a big, fat color photo of what this crazy lady left on their mail slot. You're right, Josh.
I mean, they blur the lady out. Okay, legal reasons.
Right.
But the poop, that was so much poop.
It's terrible.
Why did you send that to me, dude?
Well, you love poop.
Do folks know what a front door mail slot is anymore?
We had one.
So, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were a thing of the past.
Yeah, we had one growing up.
Sorry. Well, yeah, they used to. Now, because this story is English, I struggle understanding everything. But I'm led to believe that the crazy lady may have also poured glue into the keyhole of the old-timer's front door. Strange as it sounds, the Jurassic couple, these unlucky people, by the last name Lott, L-O-T-T, like Ronnie Lott, the old football player, they've been targeted before. And they don't have any stinking idea why or who is coming after them like this. The crazy lady in their home security videos has her mug mostly covered by a hood, but they did get a brief look at her face. So maybe with some time they'll figure out. Last time around, a few months ago, the same crazy lady poured paint thinner on both of the motor vehicles in the driveway. Black spray paint was dumped all over the car windows, and something called construction foam was sprayed into the car's exhaust pipes and the front door lock. I would be bloodthirsty at this point, Josh. I would stay up all night staring out the windows with a rocket launcher in my lap, ready to eviscerate that crazy lady.
Yeah, I mean, she's certainly creative. I wouldn't have come up with a lot of that stuff, but you're right. This is insane. I'd love to know her motive for such a thing.
Well, I think the easy and most likely answer is there is no motive. There's just a mental case loose in the neighborhood. That would be.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's all there is to it. It's just an absolutely uncorked individual who has no idea what and they're picking on the old timers.
Kind of reminds me of the movie Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang. That was a funny movie.
Very funny.
You could hire those guys to do this kind of thing for you.
Very, very funny movie.
Oh, those guys definitely would have pooped in a mail slot.
Yeah, I mean, that would have just been the beginning of it.
Great scenes in that movie where they play a prank on a house and they don't realize it's the mafia. And, 75 different people shoot and chainsaw each other to death over their prank. I love that scene where they're both just standing there with pure terror on their face as all this violence is happening around them. I also love the scene from Prison where Norm Macdonald says, ridiculous. Just ridiculous. You know what it is? It's a lack of respect. That's what it is. Ridiculous.
He was so good.
You fellas should grow up at some point. It's a lack of maturity also that came into play there. Ridiculous. Well, now, if your place is being effed with, like these old-timers I was telling you about from England, if your place is being effed with, especially if it's happening over and over again, it makes sense to be prepared. makes sense to prepare yourself. Try to be ready to get the sumbitches the next time they try to get cute on your property, like these homeowners. Also from England. By the way, you folks here on the program, you can't seem to get over that stupid Home Alone movie, so you'll likely really enjoy this. Apparently, there's video going around of some type of Home Alone booby trap that caught a burglar in the act.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
I think I'd rather hear the Hawk to a girl.
Oh, I can make that happen.
I really do.
Oh, she tooted.
I enjoyed that too.
She farted.
Right into a microphone at Costco.
Intercom.
Yeah, she's so small. I can't believe she got unleash the fury like that.
She's very talented.
Mm-hmm. All right, a Home Alone type
She
booby.
put some S on that thing. I wish I could say it. I wish I could have said that. That would have had more impact.
Home Alone type booby trap. The derelict burglar. This is what really grabbed me in the story, really. The derelict burglar involved here goes by the name of Paul Howell. He's 56 years old, and he looks twice that. I do hope that folks can see this puke bag's mugshot. You got to see this guy. To me, he looks like what Adolf Hitler would look like if he was still alive today, and if Adolf Hitler had spent the last 80 years sitting in a chair smoking filterless cigarettes.
To me, he more looks like if we were to see an overhead shot of Adolf Hitler while he's on the table about to have an autopsy. He looks dead.
He does. This is one unhealthy-looking 56-year-old, and I go along with you, Josh. It looks like maybe he's wearing the dead skin of a corpse on his face. His face has the most lifeless color to it. I've never seen a living person with that skin tone.
You posted this, didn't you, Ashley?
No, I didn't. I'll put it up right now.
Get Adolf Hitler up there on our website.
Yeah, skin's almost like greenish.
I've never seen a living person with that skin tone. So here's the deal. Hitler got caught up and caught on video in what they call here, like I said, a Home Alone style booby trap while trying to break into somebody's house. It was real simple. In the video, Hitler is creeping around the back of a house at around 3 o'clock in the morning, but the homeowners were ready for the Fuhrer. They had been targeted by burglars before, so they set this gimmick up. Hitler tripped over a string that was tied to a bucket of water, which tipped over and soaked his tennis shoes. And that was all part of their plan. So the next morning, when the homeowners spotted the upturned bucket, they checked their security videos, they saw Hitler, and contacted the police. The cops recognized Hitler because he's a career garbage pile crook, and they arrested him at the Berghof later that same day. They put it all together, and it played out perfectly.
$56. That's so hard to believe.
There's no way. That man apparently is, and I know I'm not, Rob Lowe over here, but that man is only 3 years older than me. F me running.
It's got to make you feel good about yourself.
You don't think he looks like Hitler? My God, it's creepy. What a bag of turds this guy is. He's had something like 108 previous convictions.
How are you out of jail?
I don't know. 25 burglaries dating back to 1986. Just go to jail and pass away. Like I've said before, folks like this have had their chance to be a member of society, just like the rest of us. Obviously, they're unable to handle it like a grown person. So just please, go live out the rest of your life in jail and leave the rest of us alone. You never grew up. That's too bad. We're tired of you being our problem. That's what I have to say about Adolf Hitler here in this particular situation. Just go away. It's not working. You can't get it right, so just go away. Let us know when you get that picture up on our website. Ashley.
It's up there now. It might take a couple seconds to load, but
man, how many beers would it take, Ashley, to jump into the sack with modern day Adolf Hitler? And
every beer.
And his
every beer?
Every beer.
What if he's rich and he leaves everything to you?
Nah, man, that guy looks terrifying.
Look at the skin tone.
He
Are we
looks
right?
like he's on the verge of death. It's kind of got like that yellowy tint too, like maybe his liver's His liver's checking out on him.
Is there a chance that he's a vampire of some sort? Doesn't he kind of look not human?
He cut. That is not his skin. He cut the skin off someone else's face, let it sit in his basement for 5 years, and then put it on his own face.
His ears are so saggy. How do you get saggy ears?
I'll have that problem. I'll have saggy ears.
Kung Fu Action Jesus said, "We got Hitler again? America, 2 for 2." We're 2 for 2 now.
This time we got him with a bucket of water.
He's got wet feet, sucker. That is a terrible feeling. Walk around in wet shoes, wet socks.
Nobody likes that.
I don't even want to talk about it, Cubby. All right. Oh, we got to get going again here shortly. Here's another urine bag human being that can't get right. And he really loves himself, too, which is a dangerous combination. A douche wagon by the name of William led the Indianapolis police on a long, high-speed chase last weekend. Speeds went on into the triple digits, by damn. Strangely enough, a douche wagon and the police ended up on a road called Raceway Road in a neighborhood called Speedway, Indiana. So it must be near the track, I would imagine. But anyways, douche wagon eventually pulled over and stopped. Long, high-speed chase. He finally just pulled over. He got out the car and he told the cops he's given up. Because the cops that were chasing him were, quote, really good.
Just want to stop, give you guys props.
Wow.
He said he wanted to put an end to it before anyone got hurt. Oh, aren't you just the most thoughtful guy in town, huh?
He's the hero here.
Yeah. Like I said, this guy's a cocky prick. He loves to hear himself talk. He told the cops he took off on him because he's a, quote, habitual traffic violator. And he always runs from the police because he's just that damn good at it.
Oh, my gosh. I hate him.
It must be nice to finally meet your match.
Yeah.
Somebody can really give you some competition for once.
Now, here's the part, Ashley, if you haven't coughed up your breakfast just yet. Douchewagon even keeps track of his overall career record as far as police chases go. Like your asshat, fully grown drinking buddy who still keeps track of how many beers he had last night like he's in 10th grade.
What a loser.
He keeps track. He told the cops, yeah, career, I'm 6-3 versus the police. 6-3. He said he's always able to shake the police in Indianapolis until now. Apparently, you guys finally had what it takes to, so he's been charged with all kinds of things.
You slayed the dragon.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Game recognizes game, man. You guys are great today.
How do you not hate yourself?
Game recognizes game. I don't know, Ashley, because you're a narcissist. You can't shake the thought of how incredible you are. It's a mental illness. I don't blame you for not understanding.
It's also a defense mechanism against being embarrassed that he lost.
And you know he's bragged about this to people that don't care about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he brings it up. Every time he gets a beer and a half in him, he brings this up.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
And people walk away and they say to themselves, here we go again.
Offended millennial Jesus said, pretty soon that guy's going to be 0-1 against a telephone pole.
That's exactly right. You can't understand things like that, Ashley, because you humble. You a regular, humble person.
I never want to be like this person.
No.
What happens in your life?
I don't know.
Do we have time for this final?
Let's go for it.
This might take a while, though. I don't want to make anybody mad. You guys know, that online restaurant review gimmick that's been a thing for a while, right?
Yep.
So self-absorbed people go out to dinner, and because they think they're special, if the restaurant staff doesn't collectively orgasm when they walk in, and if everything isn't perfectly tailor-made to their needs, they go on the godless internet and write up a negative review of the restaurant. That's how it works. Don't try and play that game with a certain ramen joint out there in Japan. They'll stomp your guts out for you. Says here there's a joint out that way, and they've been threatening folks who give them a garbage online review. The restaurant goes by the name of Toyojiro. So once some folks left them a bad review, Toyojiro responded online by saying, If you write a stupid review, we'll find you and we'll beat you up.
I love him. All right, I want to go there.
They even went as far as to post photos of the customers and offered a cash reward to anyone who could track them down or whoop their asses. They made this, apparently this is not a joke. They made it clear that this manhunt for this one particular couple that gave them a bad review, they made it clear online that this manhunt for that couple would continue until the negative review couple came back to their restaurant, had another meal, and wrote a positive review.
I love this.
This is supposedly what the restaurant wrote at one point or another. I don't understand all the references, but you'll get the gist. The only thing you can do is come back, eat again, and write a good review with a photo. I won't forgive you otherwise. Not even for the safety of your family. I don't know exactly what that means, but like I said, I think you get the gist. If you don't do that, you'll be killed right away.
Oh, my gosh.
You better come back and eat, is basically what they said. They were asked about this, Toyojiro, and they said, and this is interesting, they are serious about ramen.
Dude, these people are pretty scary.
And they're only trying to protect their reputation.
I don't know if I was that person that wrote a bad review, I would definitely not be going back. I would be terrified that I was going to die.
Yeah, that was the trap.
Yes.
I wouldn't go back.
You're going to end up with a chopstick in the throat or something?
My gosh.
Now, it says here, some of those ramen restaurants out there in Japan are already known for their aggressive and intense atmosphere. The staff at these joints can be intimidating. Expecting a warm and friendly experience is often unrealistic. Local authorities are looking into this effing nonsense because you just can't be throwing threats like that.
Nah, probably not.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Wow, Dennis Gates is on the mic saying, don't rush the court.
It costs a lot of money these days to a university.
Yeah.
What a ball game.
Wow, Gates gets the microphone here.
That freaking guy right there, he's the head coach of the Missouri Men's College Basketball Club. He goes by the name of Dennis Gates. Student section was pissed off at the guy, but he saved that school $500,000.
Dang.
Yeah, they're not messing around with that.
Those are the rules now in college sports. You know, if your crowd rushes to court, you get a fine, and then if you do it again, you get a bigger fine. And so the situation was Missouri playing at home. They were on the verge of beating the number 4 team in the country. Who was that? Alabama? Was it Alabama?
It was Alabama.
Doesn't matter. Okay, it was Alabama. And the coach feels it coming. He knows as soon as this game's over, the student section is going to rush to court and they're going to get a fine. So he grabs a live microphone and says, "Don't rush to court." And the student said, "Boo, you son of a bitch. We want to party. We want to be on TikTok." At any rate, he saved them some money. Oh, man. We're going to talk about the hockey game at 7:30 when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder join us. I want to save our conversation on the hockey game for Randy and Brad. Most of you know the result. I'll just say this much. Last night, I watched the game. Well played, close hockey game. And, of course, there was footage before the game on every news channel of the players warming up, crowds running around Boston, raising hell. I saw one shot of a bar, and it was filled with Canadian hockey fans, and a Canadian dude had a red, Canada hockey shirt on, and he was holding a sign that said, "Make America Lose Again." I gotta hand it to that guy. That's freaking clever. But I want to save that conversation for Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. It was a hell of a big deal. Something else we'll discuss a little bit later. Some unbelievable news on Victor Wembanyama.
Jeez, that's sad.
Wembanyama?
And I'm so happy to say that the Timberwolves are back in action tonight. Golden Gopher men's and women's hockey. It just seems like nothing's been happening lately, and I'm desperate for jocks to sniff. So coming up in a half hour, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The girl who was following them got out the car. She already had the gun, so she was prepared to shoot somebody when she showed up. My wife got out to try to defuse the situation and just leave, and that's when the girl shot her.
A dumped Florida woman ambushed her ex after seeing him driving with another woman who, unbeknownst to her, was actually her ex's married cousin.
Her ex's married cousin. So not a woman he's dangling with.
No.
But she assumed.
I know this takes place in the South, but that is not the case. He has no sexual relationship with his cousin. She's married to another man, and she took it out on this woman who she didn't know by shooting her in the face.
God help each and every one of us, Cubby.
38-year-old LaTorre Collins had been calling her ex incessantly since their split days earlier, but he stopped answering those calls. So she tracked him down. Well, he drove the other woman, his cousin, Latasha Taylor, a 42-year-old married mom. She mistook Taylor for a romantic rival and tailed them to a restaurant, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As they stopped at a red light, Collins backed into their car. She jumped out and furiously pounded on her ex's window. An argument escalated outside, and Collins fired a gun, striking Taylor, leaving her in critical condition. Collins was arrested and charged with attempted murder in the second degree.
Can you effing believe it?
Oh, I'm sorry, she's your cousin?
Oh, my bad.
I am so embarrassed. An Indiana woman faces charges for 2 separate altercations involving women romantically linked to her ex. 36-year-old Shamisha Hendricks was arrested Saturday after attacking a mother in a Walmart parking lot, calling her baby ugly, and then throwing the infant's car seat into a shopping cart. Police say Hendricks and the Walmart victim share a child with the same man and had ongoing conflicts. They encountered each other at the store, where Hendricks approached the victim, grabbed her shopping cart, and demanded to see the baby. She then lifted the infant's car seat, and with the mother, when she tried to intervene, she threw the kid into the cart. The baby remained strapped in and was unharmed, but paramedics were called just to check on the child. A separate incident at a Family Dollar store involved another woman who had also dated Hendricks' ex. According to that victim, she and Hendricks had exchanged heated messages on Facebook before encountering each other at the store. The altercation escalated when Hendricks threatened to, quote, pop the woman and then attacked her. The victim told police she was yanked by her hair, so she fled to the parking lot, but Hendricks' daughter joined the assault. As the woman tried to get into her car, Hendricks and her daughter slapped her silly and attempted to pull her out of the vehicle. Responding officers found the victim pulling some loose hair from her head after the attack. Authorities continue to investigate both incidents as they review potential additional charges in the Walmart attack.
Is it always that stressful when you're a dude, you've got a baby with this gal, you got a baby with that gal? I wonder how...
I suppose the odds are higher.
That things are going to boil over?
Definitely.
With each new kid.
Yeah. It just seems so tense. Tense situations there, Josh.
Yeah, I know. So many victims in these stories.
Yeah.
Last week, 2 officers from the Bloomington Police Department were nice enough to join us in studio, and they talked about some of their popular social media content. They also shared one of the more bizarre excuses they've ever heard for running a red light. Well, yesterday, the department released a YouTube video of that traffic stop, and it's absolutely awesome. It's on 93x.com. Body camera footage shows Officer Wagner pulling over a woman who failed to stop at a red light. When asked about the violation, she offered an unusual explanation. She claimed something in her car's wireless system was interfering with traffic signals, causing them to change whenever she approached an intersection.
Oh, right.
The reason I'm pulling you over is because you went through that stoplight back there.
Yeah, I think there's something in my OnStar that set the wireless so that every time I go through a wireless intersection, the light turns red.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
It's real.
Do you think your OnStar is making the light turn red before you go through
There's
it?
something in the wireless. Because it only happens at wireless intersections.
Wireless intersection.
Well, you know, it's real. That cop was thinking the whole time, okay, this is going on the best of.
Yeah. In the clip, Officer Wagner can be heard asking whether her vehicle then should be taken off the road to prevent further incidents.
Does it happen to you all the time?
Yeah, I'm about
Should we
ready.
probably tow your car? Because it's the safety hazard, right? If you're
No,
running
I'm
through
about
red...
ready to get a dash cam.
Because you're running through red lights?
Well, I race the yellows because they turn yellow on me every time.
Okay, you shouldn't race the yellows, though. That's not how that works.
Every time.
That lady sounds like she needs a nap.
She brushed off the suggestion that her car was unsafe, but again, she blamed her car for running the reds. Not her fault. It's the car.
Drive safe and make sure you aren't racing through yellows.
I'm going to be racing through yellows because there's something in my wireless that's turning all of these intersections red.
Okay.
It's been going on for 3 days.
Come on, lady.
Okay. Well, maybe you should make...
Every single intersection, the light turns yellow and either the car before me or I have to stop at the intersection.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, Josh. At first, I thought this was someone just coming up with a BS story, but she's quite convinced of this.
She believes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she 100% believes it.
It's not just nonsense, let me try to talk my way out of this. She is quite convinced of this.
She is. Noticing that Bloomington Police Officer Wagner seemed skeptical, she insisted that based on something she read online, her car was somehow disrupting traffic light patterns, forcing her to run red lights.
It's real. It's
Okay.
on the internet.
It's on the internet?
Yeah.
Must be true then, right?
Well, it was a pretty official source.
All right. Sounds good. Drive safe, please.
I'd love to know the source.
I want to, too.
In the end, she received a ticket for not stopping at the red.
And then she admits that, oh, well, I'm going to still keep speeding through those yellows, man.
Well, yeah, because her car changes it to yellow. She has no choice.
Man, if only we had royalties for every time someone said, well, you know, it is on the internet. Good Lord. Hilarious, though. Nice work by those gentlemen.
Yeah, that was great.
And ladies over there at the Bloomington Police Department.
A Pennsylvania grocery store employee was arrested for threatening a mass shooting while playing Xbox, and it was a Minnesotan who saved the day. Dylan Schaefer, he's a 25-year-old, made violent threats towards coworkers and customers during an online gaming session. Investigators say he repeatedly talked about wanting to carry out a mass shooting at the store where he worked. His remarks were recorded in an Xbox chat. In the recording, he ranted about being sick of people and calling customers effing idiots. When another player questioned why he would consider bringing a gun to the store and harming innocent people, Schaefer replied, "They always do things wrong." A concerned gamer in Minnesota reported the threats to police, leading to Schaefer's arrest on Wednesday.
Police say they were contacted about the threats after a fellow gamer who lives in Minnesota became concerned about the statements, which were allegedly made Tuesday night. They say Schaefer denied the allegations, but his threats were recorded in the online Xbox chat room.
Deny it all you want there, genius.
Yeah, he did deny all the threats, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Man.
A routine call turned into a police chase Tuesday after a 69-year-old man exposed himself in public, then tried to make a getaway. Officers responded to reports of a man whipping it out at a shopping center. When they arrived, they found the suspect sitting in his car with his pants undone. When officers approached, he didn't surrender. He hit the gas, reversing into a patrol car before speeding off. The chase finally came to an end at a roundabout where police managed to take the masturbating man into custody.
There he goes.
Yep.
Wonder how many loops around the roundabout he did until they got him.
Some people can't figure those roundabouts out. He's one of them.
Yep.
A patient in a gown carjacked a woman Tuesday morning at a behavioral hospital in Illinois.
A behavioral hospital.
That's right.
How did you say that with such ease?
I got lucky, to be honest.
Friggin' professional over here.
By the second syllable, I was nervous I'd screw the rest up.
Oh, I just Dana this thing.
Early Tuesday morning, a 27-year-old patient walked out of a Silver Cross Hospital emergency department in nothing but a gown. Then, enjoying the cool breeze in his backless attire, made a beeline for the parking lot at the nearby behavioral hospital. And that's where police say the gown-wearing man confronted a woman standing by her car and took off with it, but his escape was short-lived. The vehicle's GPS led officers straight to his home, where they found the car and arrested him. No word on why he stole the vehicle or why he was in such a hurry to leave the hospital. A California lawmaker wants to give Bigfoot some official recognition by making it the state's official mythical creature. Assembly Bill 666, the number of the beast, aims to designate the legendary Sasquatch as California's state cryptid, a term for creatures that many believe exist but have never been scientifically proven. Existing law establishes the state flag and the state's emblems, including, among other things, the golden poppy as the official state flower and the California redwood as the official state tree, the bill states. This bill would state the intent of the legislature to enact legislation that would designate Bigfoot as the official state cryptid.
Smells like Bigfoot's.
For decades, reports of Bigfoot sightings have swirled through the towering redwoods of Humboldt County and beyond, fueling folklore and fascination. Northern California towns like Jamestown, Santa Cruz, and Willow Creek have embraced the legend, where Bigfoot remains a hot topic of conversation and, for some, a very real possibility.
What an absolute scam and total nonsense. This is 2 days in a row where we've had a conversation about, official state this and official state that. What was the one yesterday, like an official state to...
A greeting.
Greeting.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, I know Minnesota, our official state bird is the loon. What else do we have? I can't think of it. These are things that I don't follow.
I believe the lily is our flower.
The lily.
I might be wrong, though. It's been a while. I learned that once, like all of that stuff at some point in my life for some stupid class.
Okay.
I can't remember why.
No, I have it in front of me now. Do you want to know a little bit about this?
Yes.
Our official state beverage. What do you think?
I don't know. Milk.
That's right.
Is it really?
Oh, wow.
Stinking, or as Ashley would say, you say it, Ashley.
Milk.
Milk. Our official state bird is the common Looney Tune. What else do I have here that might grab you? Our official state fish.
Walleye?
Willie the walleye. Flower, Ashley.
Yeah, I was wrong.
What did you say it was?
I said maybe a lily.
No.
It's the lady slipper.
It's something called the pink and white lady's slipper. Fruit is a Honeycrisp apple.
I would have guessed that, yeah. Sure. I love the Honeycrisp.
Our official state motto, go.
Whoever smelt it, dealt it.
No.
No pitches past 11.
No.
Is it just the land of 10,000 lakes?
Our official state motto is eatin' ain't cheatin'.
Oh.
No, it says here, Star of the North. I don't know how that's a motto.
Oh, that's our motto?
Muffin, blueberry. Song, Hail, Minnesota. Do you know the words to that one? I think that's the college song, the rouser.
Oh, is that right?
Official sport, ice hockey. Official tree, the Norway pine. There, I think I got through all of them.
Cool.
Each week on 93X.com, our notable new releases post highlights the best in new rock. This week's spotlight is on Killswitch Engage's highly anticipated 9th studio album, This Consequence. This Consequence is the band's first new album since 2019. I'm a fan.
Who's that now?
Killswitch Engage.
Oh, Erd?
It's very Killswitch Engagey.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They write songs that sound like them.
Yes.
The Monkey hits theaters this week, based on the 1980 short story by Stephen King of the same name. The Monkey follows twin brothers who discover their father's vintage and very creepy toy monkey in their attic. Shortly after, they begin witnessing horrifying deaths. They part ways as they grow and try and leave the trauma behind, but you can't outrun the past. Also on the big screen, Cleaner, starring Daisy Ridley and Clive Owen. Hoping to expose corruption, radical activists take 300 hostages at an energy company's annual gala in a high-rise building. The cause soon gets hijacked by an extremist within their own ranks who's all ready to kill everybody. So it's up to a former soldier who works as a window cleaner to save the hostages trapped inside. I like that movie better when it was called Die Hard.
Oh!
Seriously. It was comical.
Streaming Sunday on Paramount Plus, the second season premiere of 1923. In Season 2 of the Yellowstone prequel, the Dutton family face excruciating and escalating challenges which threaten their legacy. Sunday on NBC, the series premiere of Suits L.A., in a spin-off of the popular lawyer drama Suits, a former federal prosecutor and his team of attorneys deal with high-stakes cases in Los Angeles. Finally, a couple of big screen releases making their streaming premieres today. Nosferatu on Peacock, with an extended cut available as well, if that's your thing. And on Max, the streaming premiere of Elevation with Anthony Mackie, about post-apocalyptic survivors who find refuge in the Rocky Mountains to hide from giant insect-like creatures that can't live above 8,000 feet.
Sounds like an old 50s movie where the giant ants come to town and snatch little children up. That could be fun with today's special effects. That could be fun.
I agree. I put that down as something to watch over.
Did you watch those back when you were a kid? Did you watch The Blob? Did you watch the giant ants invade Cleveland and all those campy 50s disaster movies?
I watched some, certainly.
Yeah, I like The Blob. That was one slow-moving sumbitch, but he would just suck folks up and keep going.
Friends of Nuke Med Jesus heard that he's been at his fish house for over 45 days. So HVAC Jesus wants you to rest assured there's nothing to worry about because he's been taking care of your house and your wife.
Come on. There it is.
Dirty pool.
Offended millennial Jesus texts a happy birthday to his best friend with a bump in rear end, German butt Jesus. Happy 15th anniversary of doesn't play well with others Jesus' 29th birthday. About 3 weeks away from some high seas adventure in the Western Caribbean with her husband outdoor rink, Jesus. That sounds fun. Happy 17th Sunday to Jalen. Happy birthday to Kraken Skulls, Jesus. And happy birthday to Grandpa Floyd tomorrow. He'll be turning 85. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Can't catch me! Can't catch me!
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Here we got a shot on. Carr sends it around. Marner waiting. Connor McDavid scores! Connor McDavid for Canada!
It's a great game. It's a great sport. And I hope we put on a good show these last couple days and gain some fans. You know, ultimately, you can't ask for a better show than that.
Here come a couple of proud Americans right here, Randy Shaver and Brad Effin Ryder. Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Ryders and Shavers were two of the founding families here when America first became a thing.
Right. The ice hockey, yes.
Yeah.
Ryders and Shavers were two of the first families off the boat. It wasn't all positive, though. It wasn't all positive.
That's how they got, the shavers. That's how they got the term ice shavings, was from shaver.
The Ryders brought herpes to America from Holland.
No, they did.
Yeah.
And then they settled in Clara City. That's how it all began.
And it's still a town of 1,400 after being settled 200 years ago.
The Ryders brought a big bucket of herpes to America from Holland.
It's still small because nobody wanted to get herpes, Brad.
Right.
Okay.
And then they took a covered wagon to Clara City. And that's the story of America.
Yes.
They teach that in the schools.
Welcome to the show, boys. Welcome, friggin' Canadians.
When you play Oregon Trail, you never get past Clara City. Because in Oregon Trail, you die because of that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Dysentery.
It's hard to get through Clara City. You can't just, drive through.
You're going to come out of there with something. You're going to come out of there at least with a cough, a mild cold.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, right now
As Jerry Burns would say, some damn thing.
That's right.
Yes.
Oregon Trail. I hear you guys talk about that video game. Never saw it.
I can't believe you never played it in school.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Started here in Minnesota.
My kids played that.
Yeah, we didn't have that option when I went through school, but I always hear about Josh, you always mention that someone catches dysentery and then the screen says game over.
That's always the joke. Right. Dysentery. Everybody gets it.
I never played the actual game on a computer, but I've played the card game, and that's really fun.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I spent $700 on the phone version.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Isn't that the thing that got a little out of control for you?
That's the only time I've ever done anything like that.
Oh, the microtransactions?
Yep. I kept thinking, well, these crops got to grow faster. I'm going to kill the family. So I'd have to spend, and I would change my clock on my phone. I'll tell you, I got crazy for that game.
That's how you know you've gone too far, when you're going into the settings and changing the date and the time. Been there.
Well, boys and girls, it's always a problem with those friggin' Canadians.
Yes, it is.
The title game of the much ballyhooed Four Nations Invitational Ice Hockey Tournament went to the Canadians last night. She went into overtime, and Canada put that sumbitch to sleep about 8 minutes into OT on a pretty goal scored by that Conrad McDavid kid, and your final turned out to be 3-2.
Yeah, but the U.S. had so many great chances in the OT.
Did you watch the son of a bitch from start to finish, Randy Shea?
I did not. I picked it up about halfway through the second period and then watched it the rest of the way. So, it was pretty exciting, really, honestly. Great chances in the OT. Binnington was incredible, especially in the overtime. It could have easily gone the other way. Easily could have gone the other way.
I watched a little bit of the game last Friday, but last night I watched start to finish. And what had me curious all night, the best Canadian goalie available for this tournament was Jordan Binnington?
Everyone was giving him crap.
That blew my mind. That blew my mind, but good for him. He got it done. He got it done. That was the first thing. The starting goaltender in an international tournament for Canada is Jordan Binnington, but the guy proved everybody wrong.
Yeah, I wonder, though, maybe at this point in time he was the best that they had, or maybe there were other players who were either injured or didn't want to participate. Who knows?
Well, right. That's why. But it still shocked me that he was the best available goaltender. With all that said, sure, there are guys who are hurt or guys who are whatever.
If this would have been an Olympic year, it might have been different for sure. But in this inaugural event, I don't know if people really had a good feel for how this thing was going to shake out, how people would respond to it. I think now they probably realize we're on to something that's kind of fun, and maybe it's something that can be and will be expanded in future years.
Well, that would be nice if there were more than 4 teams involved.
But I'm not sure how you expand it in the middle of a season like this. We've already talked about how you're taking 2 weeks off in the middle of the season.
No, but I'm saying, Brad, but you can play multiple games in a day. You can play if you had 8 teams, you could play 4 games in a day.
At any rate,
the schedule could be quicker.
We don't need to break down how this will happen again.
No.
It was an evenly matched hockey game from start to finish. I think the United States were probably overall the better hockey team last night, but the better club doesn't always win. Yeah. I'm sure the NHL walks away from this happier than hell. They got the title game that they obviously had in mind when they came up with this deal.
Right.
I didn't think this tournament was going to get the reaction that it did. I doubt the NHL thought this tournament was going to get the reaction that it did. Anytime the U.S. and Canada play a hockey game, it's going to be a big deal. But this tournament became something bigger than just a series of hockey games. The friggin' Canadians got it done. They got it done. 2 members of the Pigs roster played for the United States club, as you know, Brock Faber and Matt Boldy. GM Bill Guerin and head coach Gene Snitsky were involved as well. Now they got to get back into character and jump back in with the Pigs.
Yeah, Saturday, right?
Tomorrow. For a second half push, yeah.
It's got to be a weird transition right there.
Yeah.
Going from playing that high-level, intense overtime hockey now, 11:30 in Detroit, huh?
Right. Well, and then, not much chance for those 2 guys to rest either.
And I saw some ESPN reports saying that a lot of players were playing injured last night, playing hurt. And they wonder how the GMs of their teams are going to feel. And they got a guy who comes back and he's on the shelf for, 4 to 6 days or something.
Right.
That's why I'm not sure you're going to see this thing expanded. They may tweak it a little bit to try to figure something out, but it's going to be hard to convince a lot of general managers in the league that you're going to take half of your roster away from them for a couple of weeks and risk injury and wear them out for something like that.
Good game last night. One penalty all night, which I think shows the fear and respect that both clubs had for each other's power play potential. But yeah, Jordan Binnington, I just thought to myself, no kidding. It was only the second time an NHL international tournament was decided by an overtime goal. You got to go all the way back to 1976, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. The last time an international tournament was decided by an overtime is how you say it, goal. In the old Canada Cup, which then in years further turned into the World Cup. In the 1976 Canada Cup, Daryl Sittler won the tournament for Canada, beating, I believe, the Czechoslovakians. Daryl Sittler got the overtime winner for Canada. And if you're a younger person and you don't know Daryl Sittler, longtime NHLer, made most of his money with the Toronto Maple Leafs, beautiful head of hair. I believe he's still kicking. I believe that Daryl Sittler, someone can look this up for me if they like. Daryl Sittler still holds the record for most points in a game. I want to say that sometime in the 1970s, Daryl Sittler recorded 10 points on his own in a hockey game. I think it was 4 goals and 6 assists or 6 goals. Someone look that up. Daryl Sittler. Can you even?
It says
Were
10.
any of them
It says
empty
it's
net
still
goals?
going strong.
None of them were. There was no such thing as an empty net goal in 1976, and you know that, Brad Ryder. Were you listening the other day when we talked to Marky Foligno about empty net goals?
Yes.
Were you on the line with us? That's right, you were.
Yes, I was.
I'm sorry. Yes, you were with us. Was it 6 goals?
6 goals, 4 assists against Boston Bruins.
Lick me down.
It's pretty good box score there.
Now, after the game yesterday, Nathan McKinnon, playing for Canada, he said it was much more popular, speaking of the 4 food groups tournament, it was much more popular than even we would have ever imagined. And sure, it was. Okay, back to this. Are they going to do it again? Will they tweak it? Now, what year are we in here? 2025?
Yep.
Next year, there'll be the Olympics, right?
Yes.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so they won't get a crack at this for a couple of years. Is that...
Plenty of time to revamp it if they want.
Okay. They won't get a crack at this for a couple of years because next year will be the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kind of maybe falling all over myself about it, but I will say this.
Yes.
It is a better alternative than the All-Star game weekend.
Oh, of course.
So I think they'd be foolish not to try something like this.
Brad Ryder, a Pee-wee tournament was a better option
but
than,
I think
than what...
They've stumbled on something that the other leagues really haven't stumbled on yet, which is a better alternative to an All-Star game.
They have. I mean, I'm still not going to compare this to an Olympic tournament.
No, that's my point.
But of course, it's a better option than what the NHL had been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. The NHL All-Star Weekend was just as lackadaisical and ridiculous as the NBA for many years. So, yeah, of course, this is a better option, and folks had a blast with it. I got one text from a listener that said, "All right, Canada, you earned your sovereignty." The Pigs, that's the Man Bear Pigs. We mentioned this. They play at Detroit tomorrow afternoon. Will Boldy and Faber be on the ice? I hope so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know they're probably a little bit cooked, but I think that'd be a piss.
They're young guys. They're 20, 22, 23. They're fine.
The latest injury update on the Russian kid has been referred to as concerning.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so the Pigs have been without Kaprizov for a few weeks now. Of course, because of this tournament, he hasn't missed a ton of games. But according to a feller by the name of Joe Smith, He works at The Athletic. I always hear about it, but I haven't been there yet, whatever The Athletic is.
Long retired NBA star Joe Smith.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Got a new side gig.
University of Maryland, I believe.
Yep, he needed some more cash.
How many draft picks did we give up to get him?
That under-the-table money ran out.
Glenn Taylor got him the job.
Yeah.
How many draft picks did we give up for this article from Joe Smith?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
He says Kaprizov has yet to skate on his surgically repaired lower body injury, which was operated on at the end of January, so there's still no timetable for the Russian kid. Originally, the thought was he'd be out for 4 weeks. Now, that timeline is quickly approaching. I believe next week will be 4 weeks.
Right.
But he still hasn't gotten on skates, so who flippin' knows where the hell this will end up.
Yeah.
And I see folks are texting in about the tournament. Oh. Folks dug it, the hockey tournament. All right, so the trade deadline is coming up in a couple weeks. And if the Russian kid still isn't able to go, that's probably going to motivate Bill Guerin to make some moves. Get somebody who can. How did Lou Nanny say it again, Randy Shaver? We got to get some guy.
Put the biscuit in the basket?
That's right.
Got to put the biscuit in the basket.
Here's a text message from Better Lego Display Than Dana Jesus. Kirill Kaprizov is hurt every year. Now, he says, would you guys pay him a ton of money for this? Because that was another part of the article that I didn't get into.
Yeah, right.
Is he's due to make a massive pile of money or something this season, next. I don't follow contractual things, but that's obviously a concern.
Yeah, but injuries are part of the game. I mean, the guy's, it's a young guy. We're not talking about a 30-year-old guy here. So
okay.
I think there's plenty of time for this kid to be effective and help the Wild do something, hopefully, in the postseason.
Better Lego Display Than Dana Jesus is just curious if that would come into play. And, of course, it will when a guy is missing significant time. Golden Gopher hockey dudes playing Ohio State. Golden Gopher hockey gals playing the University of Minnesota at Duluth. I was telling Cubby earlier, I'm very happy that the Wolves are back. The Pigs are back.
Yep.
It seems like there's just been nothing happening, and it's driving me nuts. Victor Wembanyama out for the season.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's awful what happened.
Terrible.
That's scary, too.
Yeah, they just traded for De'Aaron Fox because they thought they had two young guys put together that might be able to make some sort of run to get into the play-in, and now that's obviously not going to happen. So,
Victor Wembanyama out for the rest of the season because of a blood clot. What the F?
Yeah.
He has
he's on blood thinners. And because you're on blood thinners, you can't play a physical sport for fear that if you got cut, it could be disastrous. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's not allowed to play.
Okay. Deep vein thrombosis, which I'll give you if you sit still long enough. He has a shoulder problem called deep vein thrombosis, and there's a blood clot in there.
Yeah.
So he's all done.
That's terrible.
So what were you just saying? He's been on blood thinners?
Well, because you have a blood clot, they put you on blood thinners, right? To dissolve the blood clot. But the problem with that is if you were to get cut or you were to get hurt, something like that, that could be
also, that's why
problem.
That is the biggest concern of this?
Yes.
Is him bleeding out on the floor?
Well, I'm sure the blood clot has a little bit of a concern, too.
Sure.
But there's probably a way around that part of it. But, yeah, the blood thinners are the main source of why he's sitting out.
Now, this is the part when I was reading about this yesterday that really grabbed me. I mean, hey, guys get hurt. Guys miss seasons. You know, Wembanyama, didn't he already miss one?
Wembanyama? Didn't you think of Chet?
Oh, I'm thinking of Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
His first year, his knee fell off.
Right.
So
in that pretend game in L.A.
But did anyone say this yet? What pretend game? What?
Well, remember Chet Holmgren played in some charity event in the summer before his first year, right, Brad? And he got hurt. It was like LeBron's game or something.
Oh, sure it was.
And he got hurt and then missed the entire season.
I think LeBron, he started at point guard in that game, at the LeBron game. So what I was reading in the article that really grabbed me was reading about former NBA player Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
And the story is that Chris Bosh had this same problem, and he was never the same again.
Oh, boy.
And you got this guy. Just yesterday we were talking about how he's the face of the NBA, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
The face of the NBA. Oh, my God. Only in America, Jesus has texted in. Back to Kirill Kaprizov. And a few people are texting in comparing him to Byron Buxton and saying, oh, he makes too much money and he's always hurt. We should get rid of him. But anyway, Only in America, Jesus says, in honor of the National Hockey League, from now on, he's going to refer to a hangover as an upper body injury.
That's great.
I like that.
We should ask Marcus if that is how that should be labeled.
That's code for something.
Or ask Marcus how many times guys have been labeled with upper body injuries and out, and it was a hangover.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Here's someone who knows something or another about Victor Wembanyama's problem. This is naughty insurance agent Jesus who says this is a very serious thing. I don't know exactly what he means by this, but he says 3 months minimum of blood thinners.
Well, that's your season for sure.
Yeah.
Yikes.
In the NBA. So.
Wow.
Did you happen to see Bobby Miller get hit in the face yesterday?
I don't know who Bobby Miller is.
The Dodgers pitcher.
No.
Yeah. First exhibition game of the entire Grapefruit League or Arizona League. or whatever.
Do I want to see this?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse, but I'm telling you, he got absolutely nailed on a line drive back. I mean, it was frightening.
It was amazing he was able to walk off on his
it was
106 miles an hour, they said.
Dude, how about this, though, Josh? It's your first game out of spring training. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
I missed it.
All
right, boys, going to be a fun year.
I'm watching it right now.
He got
wow.
pummeled, and you could hear it a mile away. I mean, he just got crushed.
The knot on his head just instantly came up.
God, yeah.
It shot his helmet right off.
Did the first baseman catch the ball?
I didn't see that part.
But it ricocheted toward the first baseman. I think the first baseman caught the ball.
So how's he doing?
Wow. I don't know. I'm sure he's in protocol.
Is he dead?
For a concussion protocol. No, he's not dead.
Okay.
No. By the way, in that same game, Eddie Rosario hit the first home run of spring training. So there you go.
I miss watching that guy play ball here in town.
He's with the Dodgers right now.
Is that right? I loved Rosie. That's what I called him, at least, Josh. I called him Rosie.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, how long before we see some type of protective gear on pitchers? Is it going to take somebody dying before we do that?
But we did see protective gear on pitchers, and everyone forgets this, and it went away within a month. The fat,
like the helmet,
the fat hat.
Right? Yeah.
Do you remember the fat hat?
Oh, I remember the fat hat.
Brad Ryder, do you recall that?
Yeah, but it was here and gone in like a day.
Yeah, well, hell yeah. But
what happened to that?
I think the pitcher said, "I'm not wearing the fat hat." So you got to convince these guys to want to cage up or whatever out there, and I don't think that's ever going to happen.
The Players Association's going to have to get behind it, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever will.
I don't think they will. Yeah, I don't either. I mean, if you look at and I just throw math out there, what's the percentage of how many pitches thrown in a baseball season, and how many times does a pitcher actually get hit?
Right.
It's got to be like 0.0 whatever.
I understand, but it's I mean, one is too many. And
one is too many. I agree.
And it's going to happen. And the reason it's more of an issue today versus back in the 70s and 80s is just because of the bat speed and the exit speed now. When guys are throwing 102 versus 15 years ago when they were throwing 88, and
we certainly heard more about that when the aluminum bats craze took off, especially in college baseball.
Yeah.
And the bat, not just the bat speed, but the velocity off the bat of the ball coming off the bat. And that was frightening too. We don't see as many of those anymore either. But you're right. There's always going to be some people that are going to say, okay, what can we do to protect the pitcher? Because what we saw yesterday, there's no doubt that's frightening. And you're right. We're probably one play away from somebody getting seriously injured.
Well, I see this. I'm watching the video now. This kid walked off the field.
Mm-hmm. He did. Yeah.
All right.
But man, you could hear the boink from a mile away off the noggin.
Josh, would you rather take that off the pecker?
Well, if you got a cup, though.
Boy, I don't know. I do a lot of thinking from both. No, I think maybe the head.
Yeah, I'd rather take that off the dome than my brajol.
Because, how nervous would you be that first time you have to pee?
Yeah.
You don't know.
And just the sight of it, the sight of all that bruising and blood gathering on the skin.
The size increase would be kind of cool.
It would swell on you.
I could have like a 2-day OnlyFans career, maybe.
We don't want anybody dying in Major League Baseball, but I bet you 9 guys out of 10 would rather take that off the brajola.
Oh, my God.
Than the brain ski.
Lord.
It would be kind of cool to say your penis can handle a 106-mile-per-hour comeback.
All right.
Also, by the way, Nick, in that same game, the first ever challenge was, they're testing this pitchers challenging the umpire's ball and strike call. Yeah. And Cody Poteet, the Cubs pitcher, yesterday challenged for the first time and got the call to go his way.
Okay. So
they're testing this in spring training to see how quickly a decision can be made. And I watched it a couple of times this morning. It's pretty quick, but it's still like people aren't going to like it, I don't think.
Oh, man.
People are not going to like the pitcher challenging the ball strike.
I don't like that crap at all. You know I hate replay in every way, shape, or form in every sport. I hate replay, but I'm going to have to get used to it for Christ's sake. Here it comes, robots. So I think that was a strike. Can we check the video on that? It's going to make me mental.
Yeah, and Max Muncy, who the strike was called against, had the quote of something like, I did not want to be the first guy who had a call go against me.
Right.
Yeah. He ended up striking out the at-bat, too. So
This is never a good idea. Speaking of baseball, the owner of the New York Mets Big League Baseball Club has upped and blamed their fans for poor attendance during last baseball season. We had something similar, a day or two ago, the UCLA basketball coach blaming the fans for losing the game to the Golden Gophers. Now, this guy, what are you, stupid or something? He goes by the name of Steve Cohen. You don't call fans out like that. He spoke to reporters.
You will never win doing that.
No.
He spoke to reporters at spring training, and someone asked him about how, even though your club, the Mets, went all the way to the NLCS last year, they were 18th place as far as attendance goes. And he said something along the lines of, where are his comments here? I guess I don't have, I must have accidentally deleted exactly what he said, but he blamed the fans and was pissed that they didn't come out to see more Mets baseball. Fans, understandably, were pissed and jumped all over social media and attacked this guy. Their biggest complaint is the same as it would be with any big league franchise. When it comes down to why you don't attend a game live, it just costs too much money.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not getting any better, and it won't.
One fan tweeted to this owner of the Mets who blamed the fans for not showing up at ball games. One fan tweeted, "Hey, dickhead, how about some affordable seats for kids? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was a kid, we used to go to games in general admission. Baseball has become totally an elite endeavor," he calls it, this one fan.
And Dana's right. It'll never go backwards. That's the problem.
Next thing
never go back.
I talk about my love of the Metrodome. Sometimes it's sarcastic when I say it's better than the new stadiums. Of course, it's not, but that's the very reason I loved it so much. You could go see Ken Griffey Jr. play for like $6.
Yep.
Back in the day.
When
I got to see so many great players in the '90s that there's no way my family would be able to afford those tickets. If it was
cheap as hell in the outfield, especially, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In the outfield, upper deck. When I was a teenage kid into my 20s, student night, we went all the time because it was $5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and another reason too is everything is so much more accessible to fans now with streaming, and you can download highlights of games. You don't have to go to games. I mean, you can sit there and watch 10 or 15 minutes worth of highlights because teams splice them up and put it on social media sites for you. You don't necessarily need to go to games anymore. I mean, that's another part of it too.
Right. $7 hot dogs and all that. So I don't know what this owner thought he was going to accomplish by, showing anger to the fans for not supporting his ball club. F you.
But by the way, you mentioned the UCLA basketball coach. I went down a rabbit hole yesterday and watched a lot of his news conference stuff. That guy, I love that guy.
He's a character.
Oh, my God. Is he like straightforward, no BS?
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
He's funny.
He frightened me. I sat there and watched him. I thought, oh, my God, if I had to cover that guy, he scared the hell out of me. He was really, I mean, you had to know exactly how to ask the right question because he was going to challenge everything that you asked him.
Yeah.
Randy, were there any guys around here that you had?
Tom Kelly.
Tom Kelly. Okay, I can see that
for sure. Yep. I saw him. I saw a lot of Tom Kelly in him. I mean, this guy was a much more. He talked more about it. He expanded more than Kelly did, but you had to. It's the old Bud Grant thing. You can ask me anything. It's how you ask me that counts. And I think in this case, it's you got to make sure you ask the question in a way that allows him to answer it without being defensive, I guess is the best way to put it.
I'll take that on my side of things. I mean, I worked with a lot of coaches over the years. I mean, start naming them. But my first year with the Twins was TK's last, and I was never intimidated the first time I met a coach that I worked with, but I was him.
Yep.
I was him. And intimidated me.
And Brad,
he didn't do anything specifically to do that either. It was just kind of the aura he had.
Yeah, but Brad, you got him at the end, right?
Well, that was even better.
You got him after the media training,
right? Yeah,
all that stuff. Dude, I had him at the beginning, and I mean, he was tough.
I can relate to what you boys are saying. I had a telephone conversations. That doesn't make any sense. I had a telephone conversation with Tom Kelly many years ago to line him up to be on this here radio show, and it was an intimidating experience, but not nearly as intimidating as a telephone call I once had with wrestling legend Sheik Adnan El-Kaisi.
Oh, no.
Man,
that's brutal.
I became friendly with the Sheik, but one day I called him. He mistook me for somebody else, and I'll just say this. I'm glad I wasn't that somebody else.
And, Randy, you are right. Now that TK's been retired for a number of years, he'll talk your ear off now. He won't stop talking to you when you run into him now.
Can he talk a dog off of a meat truck?
A meat truck, yes. You know what? And he's so knowledgeable, and it's not. It's just the philosophy that when I interviewed him for Mauer and just a whole bunch of different topics, he's just so interesting to talk to because his perspective on baseball and how the game should be played is so different than what people would expect it to be. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's so detailed. It's just amazing.
He's one of the greats.
He is.
I get teary-eyed sometimes thinking about those days with Tom Kelly. Skipper and the Twins and all the World Series glory. Can I tell you the story again real quick about Sheik Adnan Al-Kaisi? Late, great, legendary television wrestler. Got to know him a little bit, doing some independent shows here in town. Had his phone number. We traded phone calls back and forth. As a matter of fact, Wapple, you get a kick out of this. When I used to do a bar gig at the Mall of America at Gators, I think was the name of the joint.
Yep.
We hosted a WWE party every Thursday night for SmackDown.
That'd be fun.
And people would show up and we'd drink beer and have fun. And I got to know the Sheik, and I said, hey, dude, would you ever show up at Gators and just give the crowd a thrill? Because these are all wrestling fans. And he said, yeah, sure. So one day he comes strolling into the bar with the robe and the sword and the whole thing. And everyone's going, for Christ's sake, it's Sheik Adnan Al-Kaisi. And he said, hello, everybody. I am the Sheik. He was such a friendly guy. But one day I called him and he mistook me for somebody else. He says, hello. And I said, hey, Sheik, it's Nick. And he says, Nick, you son of a bitch. You tell me you call me, you never call. You tell me you're going to show up, I kill you, you bastard. I said, it's Nick from the radio station. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were somebody else. And I thought, my God, who is this other Nick? I don't want to be him right now. That's the Sheik, for Christ's sake. Gene Okerlund used to always have to shout at him to put that sword away.
He knows where Clare City is because he married a gal from Montevideo.
He was
No, he did?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
He was one of the friendliest, kindest people I've ever met in my life, and those were great days being able to spend some time with a great guy. Oh, the Wolves are finally playing games again. Tough one to start with at the Houston Rockets, starting at 8:30 tonight. It's on television, whether you want to find it on that FanDuel or ESPN.
Yeah, they're ESPN tonight, and they're ESPN Sunday, too, because they get OKC.
Oh, for God's sake, again with Oklahoma City.
Two out of three times here out of the gate, they get Oklahoma City.
And I looked this up this morning, Nick. OKC has 4 first-round draft picks this year.
Oh, my God.
4.
Son of a bitch.
4 first-round picks.
We don't have 4 in the next decade.
No.
I
mean, this is all this accumulation of all those deals they made years ago.
Yeah.
They've got 4 picks in the first round. Now, they're protected, so they may not happen necessarily, but they don't lose them. And so, I mean, this team is... I mean, they're 44-8 or whatever they are right now, and they've got. I mean, man, to be an OKC fan right now would be amazing.
They're going to become the next Kansas City Chiefs, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
We're going to be sickened by them in a decade.
And they're young. They're not an old veteran team. They're young.
Yes, they are. But the Wolves beat them last time around. Okay, Houston tonight, Oklahoma City on Sunday. Randy, do you have a few bucks laying around?
I always.
Not that I'm looking for a loan or anything.
Always.
Oh, by the way, back to, remember earlier, Josh, when we were playing a little game called Skull versus Penis and Balls?
Yes.
Where we were weighing. You didn't realize we were playing the game, but we were playing a game called Skull versus Penis and Balls, where we were measuring whether we'd like to take a 106-mile-per-hour line drive off the skull or the penis plus ball.
Right.
A listener texted in and said a motorcycle accident once bruised his shaft and mangled his testicles for him.
Oh, my God.
And he says he would always choose skull over penis and ball.
Oh, man. It's that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a guy with experience.
Yes.
So Dana, next week instead of dad fights, you can come up with 10 categories, and we can play skull versus penis and balls. We can try to figure out which one of those we would rather take off of which area.
Well, I know, Brad, you like to be on the telephone, and Randy's all the way down in Florida, but I think that's a game we got to play in person. That's where I got to see it in your eyes, Brad Ryder, before you answer skull or penis and ball.
The thought process.
Here's why I asked you if you have a few bucks laying around, Randy Shaver. Bill Walton's family is selling some of his stuff.
Oh, boy.
Now that he's gone.
Oh, boy.
And they're going to hold an auction. His widow, a gal by the name of Lori, said, in the spirit of the support that fans displayed to Bill throughout his life, we're sharing some of his memorabilia with that same group of special people. So I guess the good news is it's not like they're saying, hey, we're out of money, which was always a sad deal when an old pro...
Right. Well, I mean, the way they presented it makes it sound like they're not...
Sure.
For money.
Who knows behind the scenes, but
exactly.
It sounds like they just want to give back to Bill's fans, and it does, at least to me, seem like something Bill Walton would want to do. He loved people. And so,
he did.
Listen to some of these. Of course, Bill Walton died last year.
If there's UCLA stuff, I'd be all over it.
Oh, follow this, Randy Shaver. Among the items for sale at this auction coming up are rings. His 1977 NBA championship ring when he played for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
His 1972 and 73 NCAA championship rings that he won with UCLA.
Yeah.
His 1986 NBA title ring with the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
His Hall of Fame induction ring and a ring they gave him when he was named one of the NBA 50 greatest players.
Man, those things are going to get a lot of money.
How sad is that they're selling those, though?
Well, I understand that. But
isn't there somebody in the family who would want those?
God, really?
Again, I'm going to play the happy role here, which I know you're probably not familiar with, but I'm going to...
Not coming from you.
February 21st, 8:11 a.m.
Does it say specifically where the money is going?
I thought they said some of it's going to charity.
Yeah.
Well,
yes. Josh is right. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the orthopedic department at the University of California at San Diego. Let's just pretend like this is just a nice thing the Walton family wants to do. I don't want to talk as if they're hurting for money.
I mean, if you were going to say he's just selling jerseys or whatever, that'd be one thing. But to sell the championship rings, that's just, to me, that's way more personal than selling a signed jersey or something like that.
All right, so fine. The Walton family is on Skid Row. That's what's happening here.
I mean, maybe this was his wish. I mean, we don't know.
Maybe it was. But she didn't say that, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the family knows that, they should come out and say that.
They're also selling some game-worn jerseys, some tennis shoes, and some of his Grateful Dead memorabilia.
Oh, yeah.
Because he loved to smoke ganj and listen to the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I bet he's got a lot of that.
And look for him in the movie Ghostbusters.
I wonder, we'll have to follow up and find out how much some of those things went for. Those championship rings.
Oh.
I'd be interested to know what the final bids are for those, because I agree with Brad. They're going to go for a lot.
Wow. Yeah. You're going to have Celtics fans just crawling all over themselves bidding for the Celtics ones, and you're going to have UCLA people and basketball people in general bidding on those college ones.
I mean, that time in UCLA lore, that was the prime of UCLA basketball. John Wooden, those guys. That was it, man. That program was.
How many titles did they win in the 60s and 70s?
Consecutive national titles.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the prime time for UCLA basketball.
All right. Speaking of hoops, the greatest women's basketball player today, Angel Reese, of course.
Okay, Caitlin.
She plays for the Chicago Sky, I believe, in the WNBA.
That's correct.
I think you guys are really going to like this. Angel Reese.
We didn't need her.
What does that mean?
We could have drafted her.
They could have drafted her.
Is that right?
That would have been fun.
Yeah, we didn't need her.
She has many aspirations in life, many hopes and dreams. On Instagram, Angel Reese posted all the things she aspires to have, and it's quite a list. Here's her quote from Instagram. I'm going to be a basketball player, model, influencer, businesswoman, fashion girly, podcaster, unapologetic, take care of my family and friends, set records, create history, be the first, set trends, win at everything in life.
Well, good.
Okay?
Love that.
She and I are different. Josh knows this. All I'm looking for in life is a good meal at a fair price.
You're a simple man. And like Big Bill Walton, you love people.
Oh, God, do I ever.
You just do. You're a lover of people. You're very tolerant of others.
Such a people person.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Angel Reese ain't done yet with this statement of all of her aspirations on social media. My goal in life is to be a billionaire.
Okay.
And I will, without a doubt, I will become a billionaire. I'm going to focus on it all equally while learning and growing, but also pulling others along. So there you go. There you go. Straight from Angel Reese's Instagram to us. Now, Miami Heat ball player Kevin Love had a funny response to all this. In return, Kevin Love simply posted, I'm going to go ahead and take the under.
He's getting so much hate for that, but he was just being silly.
It's so funny. And if you know him at all, that is just the perfect reply. I can see him saying that.
I don't know if the two of them don't like each other or if he's
just trying to be funny.
That's what I thought
he's
too.
Just trying to be funny.
Yeah. And it is very funny.
People were so offended by it.
Is that right? People?
Yeah, it's like he was just getting destroyed for it.
Really?
Oh, God.
I was just being silly.
People got to lighten up and take a breath, man.
I mean, you heard how many things were on there.
Yes.
It didn't matter who said it. I'm sure he would have done the same thing.
Right.
He's just poking fun at the way she said it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I took it as pretty innocent.
The dramatics around how she said it. It's just so deadpan.
Kevin Love, I'm going to go ahead and take the under.
That's good.
That was a great line.
This guy.
Oh, my God.
I mean, if you posted that and then he said that, wouldn't you laugh your ass off?
Yeah,
Somebody posted?
absolutely.
Like you guys already stated, people take themselves so seriously
I would
now.
think, if I was her, I'd think that was hilarious.
And on social media, of course, there's just morons hovering and waiting.
I can't wait.
Just waiting for a reason to hate somebody and trash somebody.
Right.
That all reminds me of a good old high school buddy of mine. When we were in our early 20s, suddenly he decided he was going to join the military. And he was not the type. I mean, it shocked all of us. I mean, this is a guy who likely, well, not likely, I know it to be sure. This is a guy who you give him a screwdriver and tragedy might strike. I mean, not a handy person, not necessarily a manly man by any stretch of the imagination, but yet he ups and announces he's going to enlist into the reserves, I think, if my memory serves me right. And we were all just thrown by this. And one of we're in a circle of dudes discussing this. Can you guys believe that Donnie's going to go into the reserve? One guy in our group says, if he does, I got 2 words for you. Friendly fire.
Oh, jeez.
Because this guy, there's no way anybody would want him in their foxhole, by God.
Oh,
so he said 2 words, friendly fire.
Okay.
He never made it. I think he went through some of the training, but then decided against it, which was the right decision. Because trust me, you don't know this guy.
As a nation, we're safer because
yes, we are. We are safer as a nation.
All right, let me ask you something.
Yes.
You got a choice. Donnie makes the military.
This guy I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you get hit in the nuts with 106 miles per hour baseball.
I think I'd feel better in general if I took that baseball to the balls than knowing that Donnie has got a rifle on his shoulder for any reason. For any reason.
Man.
See, now for the next week or so, I'm going to use that. I'll take the underline over and over again on anything I hear.
Yeah, that was good.
So funny. Yeah.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. The both of you, Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver, and we'll kick this nonsense into gear again on Monday.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you very much, and we shall return shortly on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and T-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
You guys smell that? It smells bad out here, too. I'm starting to think this whole town smells like doo-doo.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I hear you. By God, I do. I hear you. We're back. I'm sure you missed us terribly. Welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. What a hell of a deal we got going here Friday morning. Ashley's not driving right now. She's reached her destination, thankfully. Let's haul Ashley into the mix. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
She left the building a few minutes ago because coming up, you're going to be driving a monster truck around U.S. Bank Stadium in an attempt to hype up this weekend's Monster Jam. Are you nervous? Because you struggle with basic standard motor vehicles, let alone 2,300 horsepower or whatever the hell they got in those.
No, I'm not nervous. There's plenty of room, so it's not like I'm going to run into anything.
Okay, there's not a lot of other people present?
Well, there are some other people, but everybody's wearing a green vest, so I should be able to see them.
You'll be able to see them clearly.
When you run them over, it'd be like Christmas colors.
Yeah.
That's gross.
How is it down there? Quiet for now down there at the new Metrodome. I'm guessing they're moving the dirt around. They're tuning this up. They're getting beer kegs ready to go and things like that.
Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. They've got all the trucks, which always blows my mind how they have the semi-trucks come in to the bottom of the U.S. Bank Stadium, because it's just crazy to think that a semi-truck can just pull into this place. So
right.
They've got all the food coming in, all the drinks.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty slow right now, though. Pretty quiet.
How many of the monster trucks do they have sitting out there?
So I just got here. I haven't had a good chance to check it out yet.
Okay.
It looks like there are three out there right now. You've got the Monster Mutt.
Oh.
You know, the classic one.
Yeah. Sure.
Love them.
Can you make it
like
out?
I said, I just got here, so
All
I'm
right.
not exactly sure. But
That's
there is the shark one. I can't remember what the shark is called.
That's called Sharknado, maybe? I don't know.
Baby?
Could
And
be
then
Baby
there's
Shark.
a new one. The unicorn is called Sparkle Smash. There's a new unicorn monster truck called Sparkle Smash, and it blows confetti out of its unicorn hand.
That is awesome.
funny.
Isn't that sweet?
I think the shark one's Megalodon.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
We should have known.
I should have known that. I've been in that one, but
Truth
that was a year
is,
ago now.
we're not looking for a massive lawsuit. Ashley will not be driving any monster truck vehicles this morning, but we are going to check in with you before we get out of here, and we'll rev a few of them up and just get the vibe going for the weekend. We wanted to get you on the line, though, because, well, we haven't talked a lot of sexual this and that lately. At least it seems to me. It's been a while since we talked
We've
sexual.
matured.
I think it's a sign of maturity. What I have here is a new report on fetishes, which is a tough one for me because of my front teeth. Fetishes And we wanted to drag you into the mix, Ashley, because just 5 dudes in a circle talking about fetishes comes off a little weird to me.
Kind of gross.
So kind of gross and awkward. So thank you for joining us as we your thoughts on fetishes first and foremost, Ashley. Anything that comes to mind?
I guess not off the top of my head. You guys know that I have a really weird fetish. My blood fetish.
She has a blood fetish, Josh.
Pretty strange.
Yeah.
You have a couple. Right?
Yeah, there's just a couple. I try not to yuck other people's yum, but
Well, you fail at that quite often.
That's true.
To be
sometimes
honest.
it's hard.
I know.
It's just so yuck that you you gotta yuck it.
Actually, one of your signature moves is saying, now, I don't mean to yuck someone's yum, but then you proceed to yuck their yum.
Yes.
Or you say, people should keep their eyes on their own bobber, but you're looking at everyone else's bobber.
You certainly
You
are.
never even saw your bobber.
No, you never did.
You didn't even have one out there.
Well, just in case someone's new to this operation, explain your blood fetish.
I'm not really sure how it came to be. I guess there was never a moment where I was like, oh, yeah, I'm really into that. It just kind of slowly trickled in when one time I was with a man, and he was on top, this typical missionary situation, and he got a nosebleed during sex.
Yeah.
And instead of stop, I was like, no, keep going. Like, it's fine, whatever. And, oh, gosh. Obviously, that blood got onto me at some point because it was a pretty wicked nosebleed, and I realized...
And some pretty wicked missionary, I bet.
I was like, hey, this isn't that bad.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And then it just kind of snowballed after that.
Okay.
And every time you tell that story, Josh's soul just dies a little bit more inside.
Yep, that just silences me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Josh, I've yet to find anybody that's into, like, that kind of stuff like I am, like knife play or anything along those lines.
Knife play?
Yeah.
Now, you explain knife play to us.
No. Oh, gosh.
Now, keep in mind, your baby is listening.
Oh, no. Now I feel awful.
Do you have to go? Do you have an interview to do with the Monster Jam right now, or would you like to continue and explain to us your knife play comment?
No, I've got time to explain. And knife play is, some people take it really far, and they like to cut deeper, but...
Cut deeper, you said?
Yeah.
So you're talking about, when you say knife play, you're talking about people who cut themselves?
Yeah, or their partner, like ever so slightly. Not enough to leave a scar, but enough to draw some blood.
And you mentioned this because this is something you are drawn to?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
But I have been. I guess it's been so long that might have changed.
You haven't played this game in a while?
No, my fiance is not a fan of blood. So.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I'm dying.
I'm so sorry, Josh.
Just took a year off my life.
What's the matter with you? Can't you handle a little bit of knife play?
No, it's supposed to be boring. But you don't need to bring the blood and the knife. Just get it over with.
Sex is supposed to be boring and basic.
Right, and for procreation only.
We've got shows to watch.
Unbelievable. Well, appreciate all that, Ashley. Like I said, it's always interesting.
I never knew about the knife stuff.
No, I don't know if we ever heard about the knife stuff.
Oh, I figured it was just implied because, like, where else is the blood going to come from, But
you are scaring some of our listeners is how you say it. I've received a couple of text messages from our listeners who are saying they are literally scared of you. They're wondering if you're into things like human sacrifice. How far does this go?
No. I wouldn't go that far.
All right.
I guess I've never tried it, so I don't know.
In this report that I have in front of me on fetishes, they break it down by state, okay, here in the United States. And according to this latest nonsense, because come on, this is basically nonsense. Apparently, our favorite fetish here in the great state of Minnesota is hog tying each other.
I have never heard of anyone into that at all.
No. So I don't...
handcuffs or whatever.
I don't take this friggin' stuff seriously, and you shouldn't. I mean, a company did a study and this and that and broke it down by state, and apparently our favorite route to take around here in Minnesota is hog tying our partners.
That's really hard to do.
Oh, no.
You've tried it?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Especially when you first start like trying different things, you get some ropes and you're like, oh, I wonder what I could do with these. And hog tying is really difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at some pictures. I can send you guys some links, but that's beyond my pay grade in terms of tying knots.
Ashley, your thoughts on making your own human centipede?
I'm going to go with no.
No,
I'm not interested. No.
What's funny is when you look up hog tying on the internet and punch the video button, you can see videos of a hog, literally a hog being tied, and then also some videos of people doing it to each other. I know what it is now that I needed my memory to be refreshed. That looks like a lot of work to do it right.
How do you even get in there?
And I do not believe for one solitary second that this is our favorite activity, sexually speaking, in the state of Minnesota. I absolutely will not believe it because it's just so silly.
Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus said hog tying is when you pick up a sex partner in Maplewood.
Hey, focus.
Now, tying each other down is nothing new, I guess, except to Josh and his wife. Tying each other down, handcuffing someone to the headboard, that's all sure, fine and good. I just find it hard to believe that there are that many of us in Minnesota making the time and effort to sexually hog tie each other. But we'll have to try and move on with our lives. We'll have to try and get over it.
It's like you can get a kit if you want to make it easier on yourself.
A kit?
Yeah.
To play soccer? How do you bring something like that up? Like Ashley, you mentioned your fiance's not into that, so you must have said, "Hey, do you mind if I get this sharp knife over here and just cut into your skin while we make love?"
All of that kind of conversation happens beforehand, like on texting or messaging back and forth, so that it's not incredibly uncomfortable. So like in the early stages of talking, and it inevitably comes up like, hey, what are your kinks? What are you into? And that's when you kind of slide it in. Every time, though, I've come at this topic with a lot of caution because it has definitely scared dudes quite a bit. If I'm like, yeah, I'm into stuff with knives.
I'd be scared, too.
I mean, normally, I think 8 times out of 10, the conversation just happens while you're in the act with somebody. Hey, do you want to try this? Hey, do you want to try that? And you get a yes or a no, and you move on. Interesting that Ashley clears these different ideas up long beforehand. Okay, let's check and see what everyone else is doing as far as fetishes go. Even though I'm going to live the rest of my life believing this is absolute garbage, what I have in front of me. In Wisconsin, the Wisco folks, they dig socks, okay? So I'm picturing, the knee-high, thigh-high socks that ladies wear around.
That's pretty cool.
You're right? You're right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's going to be something a lot weirder, some more strange than that.
It gets weirder here. It does. Hog tying's pretty weird. We're taking a break from the weird here overall with Wisco and their socks, but we're getting right back into it. According to the story, folks in Nodak are into wrestling each other.
Oh, I bet you'd like to pile drive China if given the opportunity and she was still alive.
Back in the day. Wrestling. So I don't know if singlets come into play, headgear, but...
Sure, like Jell-O or KY.
Right. I'm picturing the lady-on-lady wrestling site called Ultimate Surrender. That's what I'm picturing, and I know some of you are familiar with that, some of you are not. Check it out, for Christ's sake. Check it out. Okay, wrestling. Somehow the North Dakota folks are wrestling each other around the room.
Andy Kaufman would have fit in just fine there back in the day.
Andy Kaufman?
Yeah, he was the intergender world champion.
Right. South Dakota. This can't be right. Their favorite fetish is giving each other a friggin' wedgie.
As somebody who received a wedgie almost daily in school from 1985 to 1993, there's nothing sexual about it. It's embarrassing, it's humbling, and you go through a lot of underpants.
You said your kids are your biggest bullies. Have either of your boys ever seen your boxers hanging out and gave them a rip for you, Josh?
Nope, they haven't.
Okay, that's good.
They have nothing physical.
Ashley,
it's all emotional, and that cuts deeper.
Josh, give me the first name of the best-looking girl from your high school.
The best-looking girl?
Well, see, you're not remembering the bit. It's one of my favorite things you've ever said on the radio.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Many, many years ago, we were having a conversation about high school, and I asked you, who was the hottest gal at your high school? And you said, it was tough to tell from inside that locker. The Iowegians bite each other. Biting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nah, you sound like Borat a little bit there. Biting. Anybody into that here?
Oh, I'll bite somebody up if they're all right with it.
Oh, yeah?
I dated a biter.
You did?
My arms were like black and blue. She took it a little too far sometimes.
Arms?
Yeah, like arms and back and shoulders and stuff.
Yeah, my fiance doesn't let me bite anymore.
Anymore? Was there an incident?
You started crying.
Actually, when we first started really getting to know each other, there's a couple bite marks on his chest, and he ended up having to go to his family's cabin that weekend. And he completely forgot that he had anything on his chest and went to go take his T-shirt off and realized very quickly that, nope, that's got to stay on. So he doesn't like to risk it anymore.
Maybe I'm meant to be a Wisconsinite or an Iowegian. Because I'll tell you what, no one's hog-tying me. I'm not hog-tying anybody else here in the state of Minnesota. I'm not going up to North Dakota to wrestle anybody. I'm 53 years old. I'll have a friggin' heart attack. No one's giving me a wedgie, and I'm not giving anybody else a wedgie. But socks and biting, sure, I'll play socks and biting. Or biting and socks. It doesn't matter what order we play.
Socks. I'll go socks.
And this goes on and on. Because, of course, there are more states in our proud union than just here in the Midwest. And it talks about many states are into VOR, which I had to look up. I know we had talked about it before. I had to refresh my memory on VOR, which is some kind of fantasy of consuming or being consumed. You're swallowing somebody whole, or they're swallowing. That's VOR, Josh.
I know. It disgusts me so much because, Ashley, I think you and I have talked about this, and I know it's come up on the air, but I watched one half episode of American Gods, that television show, and this lady, this ancient goddess of love, she consumes a guy with her man-eating vagina.
Oh.
I never saw teeth, right? But the guy, he disappears in there. She vacuums him up.
With the vagina, and he's gone.
Yeah, so I turned it off.
Did he have a flashlight in his back pocket or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
To get out of there?
If he did, he had no time to get it out.
He's going to need to find his way out.
He's thinking, wow, I'm able to spend time with this hot babe, and then wait a minute here, and he gets sucked completely in.
Reminds me of an old joke where the punchline is, hey, if you can help me find my flashlight. Okay, so two guys ended up in there, Josh.
Two guys.
And the first guy says, if you can help me find my flashlight, we can walk out of here. And the other guy says, if you can help me find my keys, we can drive out. We got to take a break. We're going to check in with Ashley at the new Metrodome when we come back, and she's going to talk to these monster truck folks, and we're going to rev the engines. But also, if you want, we can get to the rest of this madness from Fetishes of America.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Go ahead. Make my day.
On 93X.
All right, before we get out of here, let's hear what a monster truck sounds like revving up next to a disturbed sexual maniac. Ashley,
Hey, now.
Smashley is down at U.S. Bank Stadium with the Monster Jam folks, and we appreciate them very much. I want to make that clear. They always put on a great show. Friendly, wonderful people. I'm going to guess there are still a few tickets available for tomorrow night. Ashley, what's the deal down there? Did the Sparkle Smash truck do any flips or spray you with confetti or anything like that?
I'm actually standing here right now with Kayla Bled. She's the driver for the Sparkle Smash monster truck.
Caleb, and the last name is?
Oh, Kayla Bled.
Kayla? Did you say Bled?
Yeah, isn't that great?
It's kind of funny how that stuff works out. Yeah. Ask her if she has a No, actually don't.
No, don't ask her about her favorite fetish. And what are you and Kayla going to do? What are you up to down there, the two of you?
So they're not going to be starting up the trucks. It's a little late for that.
Okay.
And that's that window. But Kayla would love to talk to you guys about the upcoming monster truck shows this weekend.
Whoa.
Put her on the telephone.
Yeah.
All right. Here she is. Hi, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Hello, Kayla. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show in Minneapolis.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, of course. This is our first chat ever. How long you been driving?
So I've been driving a total of 10 years now.
10 years in the big leagues, and you are currently the pilot of, how do you say the vehicle name again?
So I drive Sparkle Smash, the brand new Monster Jam truck.
Brand new this year.
Yes, so she debuted last year in May, and this is her first Point Series being on the championship tour this year, so Sparkle Smash is in action.
Sparkle Smash. And tell us about this confetti gimmick that Ashley was telling. It just sounds like a lot of fun.
It is so much fun. Let me tell you what, the kids love Sparkle Smash. The little girls love Sparkle Smash. When you see the truck up close, it has stars and glitter, and she's beautiful. And she also shoots out confetti out of the horn. And when I go up after freestyle, I like to start my freestyle runoff, blowing out the confetti, and everybody goes crazy, and then we go crazy on the track for everybody. But it's pretty awesome. Like I said, she's sparkly and she's pretty in person, but she's full throttle for sure.
How did you guys come up with the idea for that? That's hilarious.
So Sparkle Smash has been a toy for a very long time, and the fans wanted to see this truck come to life, and the little girls did, and, you know, Monster Jam finally made that happen, and it's super awesome. It's the first girl power Monster Jam truck that we have, and it's super awesome to be able to drive and pilot Sparkle Smash and just see all the new little faces coming to Monster Jam just because they want to see the sparkly unicorn on the track. It's pretty awesome.
That's really cool. You get the jokes all the time about how, once you come to town, that stuff lingers forever, that kind of a thing?
Yep, I'll leave confetti everywhere and leave some sparkles everywhere. So
10 years in the business now. How you doing? I mean, that gives you a beating, doesn't it?
Oh, man, it does, but your body gets used to it after doing it from week in and week out. And, so when I first started, I was driving El Toro Loco, and then I had the opportunity to drive Soldier Fortune for a little while, and now Sparkle Smash. Cool. And we're having a good time.
I recognize all those vehicles.
Yeah.
We've probably seen you before and didn't even realize we were talking to Kayla or watching Kayla in person.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned the freestyle competition. That's always a riot. Is that your favorite activity as a driver?
I would say it's most drivers' favorite competition. Freestyle is kind of where it's at. That's what Monster Jam is known for. We come out here, we got 2 minutes to prove ourselves on the track, get some big air, land a backflip, and get some crazy crash to save, and it's a good time, especially when you get a good freestyle going and you find your flow on this track, and you're able to do some pretty awesome stuff and get the fans out of their seats.
You people are pretty cool over there. We always enjoy talking to the drivers.
Very jealous of what you do. That's so awesome.
We're envious of what you do for a living. We're fans of what you do for a living, and we're sure you're going to get a big crowd down there tomorrow night. So, Kayla, driving Sparkle Smash, thanks for chatting with us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, and we're excited to be here at US Bank Stadium. Y'all come out and watch it.
Cool. Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
By the way, her last name is Blood, not Bled.
Not Bled, it's Blood.
Blood.
That's even more bizarre.
Yeah, we went from that conversation to talking to Kayla Blood.
Very strange.
Ashley, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Was that a setup that you were talking about your blood fetish, and then we talked to Kayla Blood?
No, I swear it was Bled.
No, it's Blood.
It's blood.
B-L-O-O-D. Unless you pronounce
gosh, I must have. Oh, that makes it even better. I asked her what her last name was before I got on the phone here. I was like, wait, what? Are you serious?
It's Kayla Blood.
It's like a setup, for Christ's sake.
And she drives knife
She's adorable, too. She looks like if you could imagine what the driver for Sparkle Smash to look like, you would imagine her.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
We looked perfect blonde hair, cute little pink tennis shoes. Yeah, it's perfect.
Big, like pink and purple jumpsuit she wears, fire suit or whatever they call them.
That sounds like a riot.
Awesome.
She was a true pro. She was great.
Yeah. I was watching some of her highlights when we were in the commercials there. She's good.
All right, before we go, nice work, Smashley. Before we go, do you want to get back to this fetish thing real quick?
Yeah.
All right. A new report came out on fetishes. Ashley got to talk about how she's always got knives and blood all over the bedroom. It was disturbing for some, entertaining for others. But so this new report claims to have broken down all of our favorite fetishes by state. All right, we covered this in case you're just tuning in. I don't believe a word of it, but apparently the most popular fetish in Minnesota is hog tying each other. In Wisconsin, they like to pull long socks up to their ass, the long, sexy stockings. North Dakota, they wrestle back and forth in the bedroom before they bump. South Dakota, they give each other wedgies, for Christ's sake. And the Iowegians are biting each other into next week. That's the information that's in front of me. Let me roll through. Okay, vor, we covered vor. That's the consuming of an entire, it's a fantasy type thing where you consume someone or they consume you.
8 states picked that? That's hard to believe.
That's right. Okay, here's the rest. Farting. Just terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I am free. Free isn't the word. I am. I'm willing this morning to yuck all different kinds of yums. I don't always like to take that route, but I'm just going to do it today and ask for forgiveness later. Okay, Josh? Because if you're farting in the bedroom and that's your favorite fetish, you need to see a psychiatrist. So just for now, Josh, can I yuck everyone's yum?
Go ahead.
And then you can, by Monday, I'll come back and I'll be a better person. All right. Balloons.
I've heard of that.
Remember the guy, was it in Duluth, that he likes to blow up pool? Like pool noodles and pool toys and stuff like that?
He would hump a pool noodle?
Yeah, noodles and all the pool toys, inflatable pool toys and stuff.
Ashley, you ever know a guy who humped pool toys and pool noodles?
No, not that they admitted to me.
Okay. I'm not going to give you the specific state because who cares? And like I said, I don't believe 99% of this. But these are some of the other popular fetishes here in America. Getting your nuts stood on.
Did somebody hear that, or is that just unrelated, the laughter in the background?
No, that was unrelated, but it was perfect timing.
It was.
That was wonderful.
Having somebody stand on your nuts.
Oh, thanks.
Breast expansion.
Oh.
Maybe I'll look that up this weekend and get back to you. I don't know what that is. Chastity. I guess you wear the belt. You wear the
lock.
And oh, it's so exciting because I'm the only one who's been in here, even though you're not. CPR? What the hell are we talking about here? CPR? Bringing someone back from the dead?
There was just a lady, I think it was on Am I the A-Hole or whatever. Her boyfriend told her that, they were just having a talk about all these different relationship things. And he mentioned, and she said he was serious, that if he ever found out she gave a guy CPR, he couldn't be with her anymore. What? That he was that jealous.
I don't even really understand.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, I've never heard of that before. Folks being turned on by CPR. Next up is wearing a diaper. Enemas, face sitting. Face sitting. Go ahead, lower it down. Beep, beep, beep. Gagging.
Don't.
Why can't I do gagging sound effects?
I don't like the sound effects. I don't like anything about that.
Strangling. Giantess. That's where a 300-foot woman picks you up and murders you, I think. I don't know. But what does the giant woman do once she picks you up? She just runs through town and knocks buildings over like a King Kong kind of a thing?
Maybe dunks you.
Spikes you.
Taping each other up. Cigarette smoking. All right, fair enough. Pantyhose, latex, tickling.
Oh, tickling.
Yeah, I've said it before. You tickle me, you better run. You better friggin' run. And finally, I don't know what this means, but I like the sound of it. Something called smother box.
Smother box.
Oh, I bet.
Best 2 out of 3 falls, Josh. You and me in a game of smother box. You know what's fun, Ashley? You know what's fun?
What?
By the time you get back to the building from U.S. Bank Stadium, we're going to be gone.
Do you think? I've got an 8-minute drive, and I'm pretty close to getting in my car.
This is a great little competition we can have. Let's try to get the hell out of here before Ashley comes back.
Oh, I like that idea.
So she's all alone, and then the boss drags you into his office and says, let's talk.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and we're not here to help you out. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we got to get the hell going, Josh.
Congratulations to Ram Tucky Sheezus, 1 year sober today. Happy golden birthday Sunday to Thomas, who Wisco Tender Cat with a K Sheezus said will always be her favorite child. Happy birthday to Yeet or Be Yeeted Sheezus from our buddy Scene Clean Jesus.
I don't know what that means either.
5 more feet of Fury Sheezus text in a happy birthday shout out to what she calls her less fortunate looking twin, 5 feet of Fury Sheezus. Happy birthday to Kidney Stone Jesus from Route Fixer Jesus. Happy 49th to Union Drywall Jesus. Happy birthday to CFH Bass Player Jesus. And happy birthday to Poopy Pants Jesus from Farty Britches Jesus. Have a great weekend.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.